I had a sombrero and a poncho.
Because I remember the Mexicans being at Bethlehem.
Yeah, well,
with
I was
the very
representing-
patronizing overseas aid. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I don't have a voice anymore. Welcome back to our Juggz. It has been a hot minute since we have recorded a Juggz, which means that the gang have a lot to talk about. But mostly what we're talking about is why this guy's over here.
Hi.
Hi, Dan's here.
The real
Dan's
question is,
coming.
why is it so bright?
Why?
Mm.
Well, we are in the basement yet again.
Mm.
We are in the Juggz cellar that we have been banished to because we are once again using our venue for alternative filming purposes, which is why Dan's here. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
we're joined by Dan. Dan, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, Dan.
I'm great. It's lovely to be a fresh pair of Juggz for everybody.
Stop.
I know.
Got some double D's over
Dan, you
there.
don't sound like you're from Canada.
No, I'm not. I am Canadian though. I am Canadian.
Officially Canadian.
I am Austro-Canadian.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is that like a? Do you have like a Canadian citizenship?
Well,
How does it
it's
work?
all done.
Oh.
It's all. I passed the test. You have to do a test.
What were some of the questions? Like maple syrup. How do you feel about it?
What? There was one that was about the year that the Canadians burnt down the White House.
What was that a thing?
Yeah, oh yeah, that was a thing.
I think everyone was the British as well. Just throwing
Yeah,
that
oh
in.
yeah. It was when it was like
The War of
like,
1812.
yeah.
Are
was
they
yeah.
proud of that? Is that like remember when we did that? That was cool.
Given the current political climate, I
Yeah,
think it's a point of pride
Yes.
to remind
It was only
everyone.
not residential. It wasn't residential. It was like government buildings.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
It's
didn't know
again,
that.
we're going way back in history, so that was interesting.
Huh.
There were a few other ones about like the Great Lakes of Canada.
Yeah, they got some biggies. Got some
Honestly,
biggies.
it was pretty rad. But I will say, it was good getting citizenship in as an Australian.
Yeah.
And like obviously, like European culture and history in Australia is quite short,
Yes.
as it is in America
Yes.
and Canada as well. There wasn't too much to learn compared to, say, if I was trying to get citizenship in a European country.
Yeah, which is
where,
like cool.
like,
Do you know about what happened in 1006?
Correct.
Yes.
So
What did happen in 1006?
I don't know. 1066 was the Battle of Hastings. So
What?
maybe the Battle of Hastings.
What, in 1006?
Yeah, well, 1066. So 10.
Oh, we said 1006. I was like, oh, that sounds important.
I did say 1006.
You did say
I don't
1006.
know.
Well,
any of
60
those
years
are.
later was the Battle of Hastings.
But I think that's really
I know
okay
what
because you
happened.
nailed when the
What?
Battle of
Harold
Hastings
was-
was.
You what?
She just nailed it. I'm just saying she should be proud of herself.
You
It's a
did
great,
actually
it's a
nail it.
date that's difficult to remember, and you nailed it.
I only know it because of the jingle that was 0800.
I was going to say, was
oh,
it an advert?
1066, which was hastingsdirect.com.
Perfect.
Was it because you also know the Battle of Hastings because 0800
No, I just
1066?
like reading history
0800
because I'm boring.
1066, and that's how you always remember the Battle of Hastings.
I still remember Coal Steel Windows' phone number from a jingle from the 90s.
Which ones was that?
Coal Steel Windows are the best, double 2 double 1 double 5.
See the one.
That's not catchy.
Well, it actually is like Coal Steel Windows are the best, double 2 double 1 double 5.
Auto glass repair,
I'm
auto
gonna-
glass replace.
I'm gonna throw one in for the Australians back there.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
be like, I remember Pizza Hut delivery 38921111 Pizza Hut delivery. Like that's
catchy.
just.
How about you, Rob? What's your favorite jingle?
It's really good dance here. Really joining the energy, which is great.
What's your favorite jingle?
I don't have any favorite jingles.
I am a fan of oh gosh, what's it?
Jingle All the Way. Great,
no,
great
no.
movie.
Oh,
Great
shoot, that's a
movie.
good movie. What's the one about washing machines live longer with Calgon?
It's a good jingle.
Do you remember
I'm so-
Demolition
I
Man?
bet you've all missed us.
I
So
really like that this episode is a non-sponsored opening where it's just a bunch of companies. Capitalism.
Machines
for
live
sure.
longer with
Hello,
Calgon.
Peach. Peach, how you been?
I've been great, Rob. It's been so long. We did a little patron-only chat, didn't we, recently?
We
But
did.
I've missed your face.
Oh yeah, we've seen each other we've literally seen each other the past 2 weeks. That's definitely what we can talk
I've seen
about.
these bozos a lot.
A lot. That's
I'm
been very
sick of
fun.
you.
I'm sick of you.
I'm
Get out of my
sick of
face.
you.
Have you been well?
I've been great. I have done. It's so weird. It's been like what, a month. I
We
don't
went-
even know where I am anymore. But yeah, I feel good. I feel tired,
Mm.
but that's because I've been having too much fun with that man.
Yeah, Dan, do you want
and
to tell
that
us what you've
lady.
been here for?
Yeah, it's because
Yeah.
we're all just going to talk about what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks, which is
yeah. So a bit over a year ago now, we got our merry band of idiots together and we filmed a little RPG live play campaign Heretichunt set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. And it was a spectacular time. It broke me on some truly fundamental levels and in a very, very wonderful way. But it was quite popular. Lots of lovely people really enjoyed it. And that was super lovely.
Importantly, we had the best time.
And it was 5 idiots having the best time. Much the same as Juggz is.
Yeah, 3 idiots having the best time. And now 4.
We have 3 plus 1 idiots. So we got back together 2 weeks ago now, and we filmed a second season of following on from the first season, which was equally as absurd and insane and wonderful, and you were all incredible, and it makes me feel really wonderful to have such
You are
talented
the best
friends.
DM I've ever had. And I'm sorry to all the other DMs I've had. I could never be a DM, so I only have had many DMs. You are so good at it.
Oh, thank you.
And I know we have talked to death about, because we did like a little Q&A about like being a DM and stuff like that. But Dan's really good at it.
He is very good. I've been a DM once and I wasn't very good at it. So.
I wouldn't be very. Have you ever
How
been a DM?
How did you two know each other?
Oh yeah.
We met in Australia.
How did you two meet?
Was it 7 years ago? 6 years ago?
So we met online.
Oh, that's how it started.
Online
because
friends.
now we're going to go way back into the annals of Age of Sigmar history.
Annals.
Oh yeah, Dan. We met online because Dan's an Age of Sigmar legend from back in the day.
Big old War Dolly warrior.
What do you mean?
When the dwarves were barely a scrap and there weren't that many army books and whatnot, I took Dispossessed to a tournament.
Okay.
And I think I came 3rd overall, and it was the biggest Age of Sigmar tournament in the world at the time. I think I came 3rd or I came 4th or something. And then I believe I broke Rob's mind a little bit with that. And so then we had a chat online and we became best friends.
It's very cute. It's very cute.
You have, I can't imagine, like, I'm so glad you two met, because you do have very much, they would be friends energy.
Well, that's lovely.
You know
Dan's
what I mean?
a very talented man, so it's
You're
nice
a very
to hear.
talented
Rob is a
man.
spectacular human being.
Yeah, you are.
In fact, the last couple of nights we've been watching videos of
What have you been doing?
where you were introducing me to all of the movies from my childhood that had secret messages in them.
He said that.
And all I did was spent the whole time losing my mind, and how like Oscar the Grouch was one of those people involved, and you've recontextualized my entire existence.
And last time you were here, we watched the whole
Is
Twilight.
we watched the entire Twilight.
Rob is Morpheus.
Oh my gosh.
I think Rob is Morpheus.
That's uncomfortable, I think.
That's-
I don't know how I feel.
Where are you putting the pills? That's what
He's
I know.
Lawrence
In
Fishburne.
my butt.
He offers you the red pill and the blue pill, puts them together, and then inserts them as a suppository.
No, we're doing this.
But Dan was playing Age of Sigmar, and then we've also live streamed a couple of World Championships together,
Yeah.
which has been fun.
Yeah, I remember seeing him on the team when it wasn't the clock fiasco, was it? Or was it the clock fiasco?
I think it was a while ago.
No, it wasn't during the clock fiasco.
Yeah.
No.
It's a hot
But that was a
minute.
good time.
It was a
But
very
Dan,
good
also, you work in the movies, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Dan's like a big fancy man.
I am not a big fancy man.
You're a huge fancy man.
I'm a film worker, and so I live over in Canada, and I work in film and TV for a bunch of companies that pay me to do the work that I do. So it's
Tell us some stuff you've worked on.
Oh, I don't know how many things.
Well, you know what I'm going to say.
Some things are like the cool things are
Not released yet?
or NDAs are involved and things like that.
Oh.
Didn't you accidentally? Well, I say accidentally, just in
Didn't you
conversation,
accidentally?
let slip that you were on The Last of Us when we were looking at The Last of Us stand at the UKG.
We did, yeah.
And then the guys were like, "What?" And
Yeah,
you're like,
they
oh
were-
yeah, sorry.
and they were like,
Also, Dan was the sex cat in Cats.
not in the recent one, not in the recent
not in
movie
the
one.
recent
But
So
I
you
was
were Mr. Mistopheles.
no.
That's not the sex
Rum
cat.
Tum
Rum
Tugger.
Tum
If
Tugger's
If you go
the sex
back far enough in the deep lore of my life, I was Rum Tum Tugger in Cats.
Wow.
I was a little slave girl in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Wow,
not
So
bad.
let's go.
Not bad.
Let's go theater
not Jabba's
kids.
sail barge. I just
Have
want to
you
check
ever
that.
been in a
Yeah.
musical theater production?
I was at school. I was about to say Jason the Argonauts. That would be
That would be
mega.
dope.
But the other one, Jason and his
Technicolor
Technicolor
Dreamcoat.
Dreamcoat.
The
What were
less
you?
intense.
What was
version.
I?
Were you magenta?
Were you the
I-
coat?
No, I was just some
Just
random
what
guy
part?
in the background. I mean, I wasn't talented enough to
Yeah,
be
I was. What's
Yeah.
it called? Not the choir. The
back up in
Chorus.
the background.
chorus. That's it. Rob has trauma.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, a little Mexican boy.
I was once a Mexican man in a nativity. Well, I guess a Mexican boy at the time.
So what
in a
happened?
nativity.
But Rob, tell them what happened to the little Mexican boy.
Everyone in the year had to be in the choir, but my voice didn't work and wasn't working, and the lady was pretty mean about it. And then instead of being in the nativity or in the choir, I just got dressed as a small Mexican child holding a box that said, obviously, like it was for CAFOD, which I think is like Christian Aid Food Overseas or something. And so everyone else is in the church and everyone else is in the
It's dressed as like angels and Mary.
And I had a sombrero and a poncho.
Because I remember the Mexicans being at Bethlehem.
Yeah, well,
with
I was
the very patronizing overseas aid from the UK.
I was representing the global south.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I was representing the global south, and I did a great job.
Yeah.
I would constantly shout "I caramba."
Oh my god!
I actually didn't do that. I was just very quiet, and I thought,
Hi, Mamacita,
I hate
thanks for
churches.
the
That's what I
aid.
thought.
Oh my god!
It was good.
That's great.
It was good. It was a good time. I sometimes think back to it and think, life's awful.
That's where it went wrong.
I should never have tried to do something pure from my heart.
Yeah. Oh no, you're forced. You're in because
Yeah.
Because
I think I was the star. I think I got, because I remember, I feel like I was the star.
the star's pretty good.
The star was really good because I remember someone trying to grab my star. Or
Okay,
something.
top 5 positions to play in a nativity. Let's
Okay.
go.
Okay.
No one actually gets to play the baby Jesus. The baby Jesus is always a doll that the kids can like pick up by the arm.
Or an actual baby sometimes.
It's Mary and Joseph.
Okay.
It's Mary and
Oh,
Joseph.
you think that's the rock star position?
Yeah, those are the rock. Do you
It's kind of
disagree?
Sandra D kind of Grease, isn't it?
What do you mean?
I'm gonna disagree though. I
Do you
don't
think it's the
Mary
angel
and
and the
Joseph.
star?
Well, okay, you think about any musical, any
Yeah.
like theater show or whatnot. Sure, the leads get a big cheer, but there's always one character in like a supporting lead
Who's
space,
the villain of the nativity?
or like a villain who is way more fun.
Yeah.
And what I'm gonna say is, it's the donkey
I was going to say
that brings
Damn
them.
it.
It's
Shoot,
the
you're
donkey.
right.
That's the one, because you're like, Mary and
It's
Joseph.
a two-parter,
good
isn't
job.
it?
Yeah,
It's
because
a
in
teamwork.
pantomimes, it's
Teamwork.
the
Teamwork.
dame that gets the biggest cheer, not like the main celebrity.
Everyone
that
loves a
they-
donkey.
Everyone loves the donkey.
Yeah.
You're right. Because the villain also always, but there's not like
Yeah.
there's not like, I'm gonna steal the baby Jesus.
Yeah, that's, oh my god, we are onto a new Christmas tradition.
I want the baby Jesus thief to be a thing, but it's like the opposite of Santa, and he's got a swagger.
It's like a
I'm gonna-
hamburger for baby Jesus.
I'm gonna steal the first Christmas, and you will never celebrate Christmas for the rest of your lives. And I'm gonna add a villain to the nativity.
Rob,
Liz, you got to go to.
I'm seeing a new role for you
Yes.
in the nativity performance.
You're the nativity villain.
Wow.
nativity.
Wow.
You're
Is
you're
he
this-
also Mexican?
I-
Oh, wait, is it Herod? Is it King Herod?
Herod's
Oh,
actually
yeah,
the bad
yeah.
guy. I think positioning the Mexican as the criminal
Seems
stealing
I wasn't gonna have him
Jesus.
be Mexican.
Well, that's who I can only be in
That's
nativities,
true.
contractually
The
obligated
Mexican baby thief.
as a Mexican boy.
The ancient Mexican baby thief
That's me. That's
of
me.
Palestine.
As a longtime fan of Juggz, it's very exciting to know that the reality is exactly what comes out. You know? Like, this is just
yeah.
For sure.
Behind the curtain, it's just more curtains.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of good.
So now that we've established that Rob is a Mexican baby thief, the villain of the christening,
Yeah.
the first Christmas, what have you been up to this week,
Yeah.
Rob? Well, how
Tell
are
us,
you?
Rob,
What's
tell
going
us.
on with you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, because mainly we were talking about what you guys have been up to. What have I been doing? No, as in like you guys have all collectively
Yeah,
been doing
we
a
had
thing.
one
Yeah, we have
collective
one story.
experience.
You've also been doing other stuff outside of that, which
Yeah.
we should talk about
Mhm.
for sure. What have I been doing? Oh, cool. There's been loads happening. A Beastman book came out for Old World, so that's been
Ooh.
fun.
How was that?
So covered that. Really good, actually. It really highlighted, I think, to the frustration of the audience, the design problem inside Games
What do you
Workshop.
mean?
They have, for Old World specifically, but this is also true for 40k, Age of Sigmar, and the other game systems, they have siloed authors. So, as an
Siloed
example,
authors.
so what they had, like, so the Beastman book had just come out, and it's significantly more powerful, but also, and most importantly, more interesting and fun than the last two books.
Yeah.
Who,
That feels cool.
I mean, I read books a lot, and I'm sure many people, not to brag, and I'm sure many people at home will also be able to be like, oh, I can read that author and their writing. So it's very clear that the last author of the last two books is a different writer to this author. In fact, I could probably say this author was the same as the Orcs and Goblins books, same as the Tomb King
Oh, you
books.
can
same
tell
as the-
their style.
You can tell their style because
Ah.
specifically, like, and also maybe the freedom that they have
And
as
is that
well.
a problem?
Yes,
Oh.
because then you don't get like, for instance, one author might be like, it's super okay to do this really crazy thing, which
I
might also
suppose
be
if it's
strong.
rules, it's different,
It's
right?
different,
Okay,
yeah, for
okay.
sure.
I just thought you meant like lore and stuff.
Yeah, and so it's a bit of a bingo. It used to also be the same in Age of Sigmar, pretty much the same, although I think there's a little bit more committed now, and definitely the same in 40k. So what happens is you just end up with like, you're like, oh, mine's really different to how that works. What's going on?
I guess, yeah. Like, why is my army written so differently to these other armies?
Yeah, and in some cases, why is it written differently and like badly?
Oh, that's a shame to say.
That's a shame to say.
Yeah.
Like, or I guess when you say badly, I think the real difficult part is you're comparing them.
Why is
because
it
they're
bad?
not because they're not consistent.
Yeah.
You do compare. You're like, oh, this one's so much different to this one. What would be the reason? A lot of people do like silly things like Games Workshop, some nebulous group. We know that it's people who's working.
That's
in
why I'm like,
departments.
it's a shame to say. I would never say anyone's work is bad.
It's I agree with you. It's the same like musical artists, right?
Yeah.
They make a banger album, but like I don't know, tracks 3 and 7 aren't as good as tracks.
One of my favorite artists, Arion, who I love with all my heart. They haven't released
the new music video as well.
What?
Oh, sorry, is that different? Not the J-pop.
No, not the K-pop. That's a different thing. But either way, a band that it's not a band. It's like, so he collects musical artists from like every genre of metal, brings them together and makes like a super album once every 4 years. It's incredible. But the last two have just not been it. And it breaks my heart because I love him. I love every single artist he brings in. The songs just aren't slapping though.
Yeah,
it makes
then
me
imagine
so
you
sad.
spent £600 on some headphones to listen to it and also painted those headphones for 6 months. I'm really pushing the analogy here. It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
No, but I get it.
I'm painting headphones to listen to music.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like anything. Like, it's not that someone's worse at it. If you had two people painting art, trying to replicate the same style, but they weren't working together, they were just painting. You were like, give me two expressionist paintings from two different artists.
If you told
with
me
two
and
different
Peachy
styles.
to draw a Space Marine, it would look completely different.
And I think the thing that's most interesting about that is like I started playing Warhammer with Warhammer Fantasy when I was a wee chillin', and I couldn't read the books because
You're dumb.
I was dumb.
You're
I was
dumb.
child.
You're a little dumb child.
Didn't
Oh,
understand
that's
the
me.
rules. I just mashed the models together, rolled dice, and was like, everyone's dead. But
You played 4-ups.
I played, I played Fantasy before it became Age of Sigmar, and back then the first ever like group, like gamer gang group kind of guild thing I was in, we all played books by one army book writer because we knew they were the strongest. And our group name was, and back then, like anytime a new book was coming out, you're like, ooh, who wrote my book?
Is
and
it
then
that
as soon as you
guy?
find out it was that guy, you're like, yes, I'm going to have a really strong book. And if it wasn't, you're like, damn it,
But
I'm not
that's
going to be
not how it
competitive.
should be.
No, and it's not that someone's bad at it. It's just that people approach the same thing differently. It's just surprising. Like you say, it's siloed.
Well,
it's still the same problem all
You
these
used to
years
have a
later.
lead writer and then like other writers within that that would do a lot of stuff. So it's.
I don't think that's necessarily the case now.
No, I was
Like,
going to ask how regular are the releases for the books?
So in the past 18 months, they've released 9 arcane journals, with 2 being released at the same time as the core rules.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if most of them were pretty much done like at the same time.
Yeah, so they just bang.
Okay. Which is kind of interesting. Like ultimately, what actually happens is it really upsets the audience.
Yeah.
For me as a reviewer as well, it's more fun when it's the quote unquote good guy.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
more fun
Right.
when things are good.
Even. And again, just to be clear, I know everyone who watches this is like, Rob plays games, and I'm sorry for doing so. But like,
What do you mean?
I agree. But the it's fun when stuff's fun. Like I will say this again, I don't mind if a game isn't balanced.
Yeah.
As
Also,
long
it's
as
fun-
it's exciting.
It's more fun to make content when things are nice as well.
It's so much
Like,
more fun
you
to
don't
make
want to
content.
go on the internet and be like, well, maybe this was good after, because it's like, oh, I could never do that.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's also like not your responsibility. Like I that's what I do. Anytime a thing comes out, you read it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will read the thing. And then people are like, cool. And then people are like, Rob, this sucks. And I'm like, I agree. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, and then like sometimes it's a bit of shooting the messenger. But anyway, this one wasn't that, which is fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it did.
right.
But we have just done Wood Elves, which was definitely that.
I deserve it.
Oh,
Like,
why?
yeah.
Constructive criticism, the Wood Elves.
They don't nothing. Like they don't have an armor save for a start. Really funny. They have no armor save, which is a bit of a joke we were making through the entire
It's
book.
elves, it's me.
Yeah, but they also have no magical protection either. And
Oh.
then, like, the first magic item that we read for the new Beastmen, they were like, hey, you know how Warriors of Chaos got this cool armor that gives you an armor save and a ward save? And also wizards can wear it, and wizards normally can't wear armor. You can also take it. And you're like, oh, one per army? No, as many as you like.
Wow.
And you're like,
Oh, thanks.
Great.
that's a... And then the Wood Elf players are like, what the... Or, like, they just put in a herd stone for the Beastmen,
Right.
Cool. It's got like 8 rules.
Wow.
Amazing. That
Yeah.
do like all sorts of fun stuff.
Which
Even
it
worth,
should.
even worth victory points at the end of the game.
I remember the Hearthstone in like the original Beastman books, and it was always like the really spooky artwork with like the swears that you had to translate and
for
stuff.
sure.
Hearthstones are cool and they should be cool.
So
Hope
what
so.
else get waystones, right? Like cool little.
They get a
menhirs?
forest.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have any rules though.
Oh.
What do you mean the
And-
forest? What
What
was
does
it
it have any
there?
rules?
It's a magical forest that
Yeah.
doesn't have any rules.
Okay.
And also it doesn't
Can it not protect them?
What makes it magical?
nothing. So do you see what I mean? It's like the Beastman guys are like got like 8 things. Even the way that you score points is at the end. If you hold the stone at the end, whoever holds the stone
Not the
gets
Hearthstone.
victory.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the Beastmen lose points if they don't hold it,
Yeah,
and then
makes
the other
sense.
guy.
So it's like narrative as well.
of course, that
Have
like,
fun.
that should be how the rules work. They
So
should be
the
narrative.
Wood just gets in the way.
The wood is just there,
It's just
You
there.
just get to have it.
just there.
I
Just
like
get
it.
to
I like
have
that it's
Honestly,
there.
I'm about elves having the worst time. So I am
Maybe,
I am
yeah,
I
I
am
mean,
maybe.
dwarves.
I'm
Yeah.
a dwarf
Yeah,
stan,
I get
and
it.
I am like totalitarian
But I
in
can
my beliefs in
imagine-
that regard.
As a goblin player, if they released like goblins or something and they didn't have like a little table of mushrooms you could take to do, like they had nothing. If it's like, cool, the goblins have like the loon shrine or whatever it is, it's like, what does it do? Nothing. I'd be like, well, I'm upset.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about Age of Sigmar, there's 2 guys laughed at home at that. They also released a new
That
General's
was well done.
Handbook
I get it.
because they don't really have a lot of flavor to the rules. They also released the General's Handbook, which is fun, which is like the seasonal rules. They also announced that for Old World. So there's lots of stuff. There's new Horus Heresy coming out. So there's lots of stuff to like talk about, which
Now
is very
what?
cool. And also some of the videos have been really long. Like the General's Handbook is a super long one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because like it's the new seasonal rules.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people love seasonal stuff. There's a new seasonal thing being added to the Old World. Some people are upset. Some people are happy. It depends. Some people are like, oh, it'll be
Lots
nice
of
to get.
emotions going around in your department.
Yeah, lots of
Yeah.
emotions. It's a lot of emotions on the other people's side because ultimately, like, they're really passionate and they want to play some games. And sometimes stuff is up in the air, some
Yeah.
stuff changes, and sometimes that change is really good. Sometimes it's not good. And they're like, and also imagine if you've been like waiting for the Old World return,
Yeah.
pumped. Yeah, you're like, yes! And then you're like, oh, we're going to release High Elves. And you're like, shut up. Yeah. And you're
That's
High elves
my
are super
jam,
cool.
yeah.
I love high elves.
yeah, and you're like, oh my God. And then you're like,
Eagles
okay,
and shit.
you've got the core book. You're like, okay, fine, I can already play my High Elves.
sick.
But also, we're going to do an Arcane Journal in like a bit. Like, when? You're like, well, we're Games Workshop. We'll never tell you. And you're like, okay, it's next week. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm fucking, let's go.
It's my time. I've been waiting a decade for this.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited. You're like, what's the rules? Like, sometimes you can reroll ones. You're like, okay, anything else? No, that's it. That's what you get. You're like, oh.
Can my eagles go extra fast? Can my
No. You
anything-
can have a mirror. You can have a mirror whim though.
There's a whole
Ooh.
book just for you to reroll once.
Yeah.
Well, no. Sometimes I think you have to stand and reroll ones as well. So it's quite like you can't move.
Good times. Good
Yeah,
times.
a lot of so a lot of emotions been in my department, but lots of videos,
Yeah.
which has been fun. Lots of exciting times, and I think the stuff that's happening for Old World is really positive. I
Yeah.
think the stuff that's happening for Age of Sigmar is really positive. So both the games are in like a better position for everyone to play.
Mm.
So that's what I've been doing.
I mean-
and more to do.
Well, just speaking of people doing things, like I've been blessed in that we came out here, we shot the season, it's been great, and that's kind of
Mhm.
consumed my time. The 2 of you also have had to produce stuff
Yeah.
while we've been filming stuff as well.
Been a challenge. But
Yes, it
also
has.
fun.
What have you been working on?
You go first.
Okay, so I knew, and a part of me is like, is this going to be okay for my patrons and YouTube? Will it, as long as there's a video and there's a video out there?
Mhm.
And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And then we were talking about getting
Mm.
some of these Immortalis rune scenery. I was like,
Yeah.
I could combine these 2 together, film it whilst I'm painting it, make a little
Mm.
video out of it. And
Combine jobs.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I need to get this. So what was interesting was I was trying to match my old scheme, which was using North Citadel paints when I did the Necromunda scenery the first time around.
Yeah.
Over a year ago.
Over a year. I use
Yeah.
Army Painter paints now. They've got multiple rusts, like 3 now.
Wow.
And I really like using Dirty Down.
Yeah.
But none of my things have Dirty Down on it. And Dirty Down is
What, none of
really,
your old things have
None of
dirt
my old
down? Yeah,
things-
yeah, yeah.
Dirty
yeah.
Down is incredible but distinct.
it's distinct. It's
Mm.
very fast, and I like using it. And you can really sit it down. You can get spray versions as well, and big buckets and stuff. So I was like, how do I do this? And I was like, I'll just use Army Painter rust and stuff. So I did like a really quick video on like using a couple of sprays,
Cool.
silver, a bit of black,
Yep.
add some rust, masking tapes and stuff. And it was like 10 minutes. And it's done all right. It's not like, it was like,
That's all you need.
it was a 2Z for a while. Then it went up to an 8Z.
That's amazing.
And then it's balanced back out to like a 5Z.
That's so good.
So
Did you enjoy the process of doing it?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and for a quick video to do that well, that's absolutely fantastic.
So this week I've got another quick video, but it's even quicker than the last one. So this is, well, because of you. And you.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you showed me today.
Yeah,
also, I like it when I come in your camera. Hello.
But yeah, you were mentioning like Horus Heresy, the thing. And I was like, I want to try something to see if it's like, if the community are interested in it. Because I normally do a lot of waffly videos that are quite long about a new game that I found, which I love doing.
Yeah.
Love finding new games.
Going back to our Games Workshop roots.
You're an absolute nightmare for my wallet. Because you release a video and you're like, hey, check out this new game. And I'm like, that's fine. I have so many boxes of unbuilt games that I haven't started. And then you explain the rules. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
Sometimes I wonder if I do it too much or not enough. Or if it's too long.
I think whatever you want, people are just like, hell yeah.
Well, yeah. I tried to
whatever you
really
do,
well
people, yeah.
as a video. Because it's quite a new game and it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's kind of like a war game, but you're competitively arresting criminals, but also trying to compete.
You gotta
with
like
other
work
guards.
together, but also it's like you
just
get
realised
the
that's what the
bonus.
police are doing, competitively arrested.
Are
They
they?
have like targets.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
stuff.
a load of my criminals have been like,
They're like Greater Manchester Police, but like we've got way more shoplifters than
We
you've
hit our
got.
KPIs.
Derby.
what's that?
Yeah.
You commented on social media. Oh, cuffs for you, mate.
Oh yeah,
cuffs for you.
yeah.
But yeah, so I did a little I did a little video on that, which, well, I say little video. That went really well. Really pleased. For me, that's the rewarding part as well. It's like, it's a new game. Graham used to work for Workshop, used to do a lot of games dev stuff for Workshop. He has his own games, and they've all been really successful. There's been 0200 Hours, which is World War II, Commandos-esque, if you ever played the computer game Commandos, a bit like that.
I was bad at it.
There's Test of Honor, which is samurai, like small skirmish war bands of samurai.
I remember people playing that, I think, in Forge
Really
World.
cool.
It looked really cool.
Very, very. I need to get some more models for that and stop having a go at that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this video this week is Horus Heresy, because you guys were like, Horus Heresy is coming out, you should probably do a video. And I was like, that's pretty smart. You had some miniatures. You sent me some miniatures. I built up a dude. So what do I do? And I was like, you know what? Maybe an Iron Warrior. I know there's a lot of Iron Warrior videos out there, but I'm going to start
the two like poster boys of the big pauldron guys that they did was Salamanders, which was dope. Saturnine? Yeah, Saturnine.
Saturnine.
Thank you.
Saturnine.
Saturnine armor. It was the Salamanders and the Iron Warriors,
Yeah.
and they do look really, really cool.
So this is like an 8-minute long video.
Easy.
So I don't normally do videos that small.
Oh.
Yeah. We're
Minimum's
20
been
minute
like
gang, aren't
20
we?
minute upwards. So I want to see, and it was quite quick to film because I filmed it all on the Monday. I added some VO like yesterday morning because we had a bit of time in the morning, and it didn't take me very long to edit. And it's because we've been filming all day over the week. I'm having to do edits in the evenings and stuff like that. So trying to do a little bit of playing the catch up.
You
but
may
it's worked
find
quite
that like
well.
quick videos, you really like them. A lot of people like will do like a couple of weeks of quick videos so they can do like a really long 40-minute super project.
It also
month.
lets you like pick subjects which, like, when you say, okay, my normal kind of 20-minute video format, what is my idea?
Yeah.
But if you're like, okay, what is an 8-minute video idea? It's a different format, but also different stuff, because it might be stuff that like, I can't really make that into 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
now
like
you've
my
got
little painting tutorials where like I've just got a little concept, but it's not enough to craft an entire
like you did the
story
painting
around.
pink armor. Or was that a Patreon one?
That was a Patreon that I released. But imagine like my concept was just something really simple, like painting the cutest miniatures in Warhammer.
Yeah.
Right? Or painting Warhammer's cutest miniature. Like that would be a shorter video just because it's not like you don't get the start where it's like, and then I discover, like, there's no, I just want to paint something cute, right? Like, that's it.
Which I guess also then allows it to live as its own, because if you were trying to make a 20-minute video with the Iron Warrior, you'd probably be like, okay, here's a deep dive in chevrons and
That's
armor
exactly
and
what
weathering
I've
and
done
blah, blah,
for
and
my
so,
video.
which is really cool
Yeah.
because then you end up with all these little bits and pieces. But also in the same way, you could have 3 videos that they focus in on that one point where you're like, okay, here is chevrons, here is this, or like here is, you get to do it quick and efficient, and it's one note, one subject, one topic.
And some people don't even do painting. Like some of the shortest like YouTube videos in Warhammer, it'll just be like a little topic they want to talk about, just like why we should support smaller businesses.
Yeah.
Like I've seen loads of videos where it's like 9 minutes long, and they're just like, they just turn on the camera and they're just like, here's why I think that we should all stop buying Games Workshop miniatures for a week.
Yeah.
Right? Here's why a load of people are choosing to paint their backlog this year. Here's like just a little topic.
There's a couple of guys in Canada who own like a hobby store, and they like make a video every week where they talk about like like problems they have running hobby stores. They
Cool.
I think they both run one each. I think I fundamentally agree with probably 90% of what they say.
That's good.
But like, it's nice getting something outside of like the thoughts that I normally am given.
Yeah,
Not that I
yeah.
watch any other Warhammer content. In fact, actually, shout out to them. It's probably the only Warhammer content I consume where I'm constantly like, no, that's wrong. No, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, but it's their opinion, and like, and it is interesting hearing.
It's an interesting scenario.
It's interesting hearing like hobby store guys be like, because of the tariffs, for instance, this thing's all messed up because of like this new, like, and to a hobby store, the release of like a new thing for like Age of Sigmar, for example, or 40K drastically improves their potential to make money.
Yeah.
But also if they don't get any stock, reduces it. And so like, it's quite interesting hearing their like ups and downs.
You've given me an idea for a video.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So one of my favorite things on TikToks are like shop story times.
Okay.
Where
I
it's
thought it was
just like,
frogs that just went.
Okay, it's also, we've
also
had a
a
lot
great
of that.
video.
Yeah,
We
I was
spent a lot
showing
of-
Dan some videos of that literally last
and frogs
night.
that scream in Space Marine voices.
Yeah, we were watching. Have you seen the Desert Rain Toad? But it's been dubbed over by a Space Marine.
No.
It's really good. I'll
It's
show you later.
spectacular.
Anyway,
I broke.
So my favorite TikToks are basically it's like people send in their story times, but it's from working in retail, right? So it'll be like customer store. One of the best things about having friends who are teachers is just hearing all the horror stories about the terrible little children. Like, I love it. And I want to maybe make a video now where I'm like, if you ever worked at Games Workshop, what's your most like bizarre retail story that you have? I would watch the shit out
My
of that.
brother is a teacher, and I can 100% confirm
And you
that
used to work at
80%
Games
is- And I
Workshop.
also used to work, there you
Dan,
go.
what is your wildest story from working in retail? Let me give me my first one now.
Oh boy, I'd have to dig deep. I can't remember. I haven't thought about this
I
in
did
such
put
a
you
long
on the
time.
spot. I did put you on the spot. Either way, I love.
Okay, yeah, I know.
He's got one. He's got one.
So these kids came in and were very clearly shoplifting.
Oh,
Like very, very clearly
how
shoplifting.
do you clearly know
Fantastic.
they're shoplifting?
Well,
There's a sign you
they're
can
like,
see.
like they came in.
Are they like hoodies
and-
up and just like?
Or they came in and they were all like clearly jittery and like they would.
How old
They
were
would have been like high school teenagers.
Oh,
Like I'm talking like
bless.
14 to 16, somewhere like
What
that.
did you see? They
Like-
had like a little copy of Mark's book in their back pocket. That's what you saw.
Like
You're
a little
like,
swag
"Oh,
bag."
Nice.
But they were like anyway, they really clearly jittery, and like one of them had came over to me straight away and like was trying to take me over and ask me questions in like a very far corner, and I could see this other one had like a satchel bag, but he was wearing it on the front.
Oh,
And I'm like-
it's so
And
weird.
like you walked in, and anyway, they were. I was like, dude kept trying to ask me questions over there. I was like, yeah, mate, yeah. I'll why don't you come talk to me over here next to your friends? And he was like, oh
they keep
no,
trying
no.
to pull you away.
No,
don't
it
they?
kept-
Yeah.
It just kept going.
And he kept
wrong.
doing it, and I just
Yeah.
kept watching him. And then eventually, at one point, I was like, he tried to take me over there, and I was like, hey, mate, I'm just gonna let you know, you probably should tell your buddy to take that dreadnought out of his bag, otherwise I'm gonna have to call, And he was like,
your parents.
and he was like, I was like, also probably shouldn't have come in here in your school uniforms. And they were just like immediately. He was like,
shit.
I was like, hey mate, you're gonna tell me whatever you're gonna tell me. You take that dreadnought out, you put it back. I'm gonna check all your bags, and you're gonna leave. Nothing else bad has to happen.
That's
He
so-
just burst into tears.
Oh,
And I was like, hey mate, I hope this never ever do this again. And then suddenly they were all giving me the excuse. They're like, so anyway, my mom, she's done this. And they were there for like 15 minutes. I'm
Oh,
like, hey guys,
bless
here's the thing.
him.
I've got legitimate people who would like to grab something. Can you please just stop crying, stop crying, stop crying,
Oh,
stop
no.
crying and leave, stop crying and leave, stop crying and leave. And like, it ended up like I've kind of,
Some kids aren't cut out for
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah.
it was like very much
They
scared.
were trying.
It was very much scared straight by me just being like, hey, take it out of your bag. And
This
don't.
is it.
I'm
Like they wanted to like try looking hard,
But
right?
honestly-
They obviously just wanted to give it a go.
What I would say though is from my time, I have a number of stories that pop into my head of like, people that were grognards and chunts and
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that. And I'm like, you
chunts.
were just gross people. However, the ones that actually stand out are the rad people.
Yeah,
They're the ones
hell
that
yeah.
I remember the
Hell
most.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They were the coolest people. And I'm really glad that my brain, while I had like there are a lot of people that have negative experiences, like working for the company and things like that. I'm really glad that my brain has decided to file those away in a
same,
lost
yeah.
cabinet and has kept a lot of the good
that's
ones.
Nice.
The negative thing to that is that sometimes I think in life you can tend to then positively look at things that were bad. You
Yeah.
look at a really toxic relationship and you're like, oh, you know, they
Oh,
weren't
were
that
so
bad. It's
nice.
like they parked a car on train tracks and tried to get you run over by a train. Like, that's right, you did do that.
I did that. I did that. So you know how we
Well,
had.
you parked
You parked a car on
No!
train tracks and tried to get someone run
So
over.
you know how
Rob,
we had
was it
Bricky,
you?
you know how we had
It was you.
we had Bricky over and he was like filming that little like documentary sort of thing he's doing or whatever it is. And he like I'm in front of the camera and he's like, so tell me how like your time at Games Workshop like made you sort of like who you are today.
Mm.
And I'm instantly like, I feel like I really found my people. I had such a great time there. I used to be a nerd that just stayed in my room all the time. I came down to Games Workshop. It was my first proper job out of uni. I absolutely loved it there. And I'm just so glad that I worked there. And he was like, yeah, we're probably not going to use that. Like,
Yeah, conditioned.
like
Not, yeah.
he said it was a bit corporate speak.
Yeah.
And I like,
Thing is,
yeah, same. Because I was just like, when I look back, I look back at the
Yeah.
good times. I
you,
know.
you hit the nail on the head. I'm
Yeah.
the same. It's like all my retail. There's a reason why I left retail, and I can't
Yeah.
remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all I remember is the good bits.
Yeah, I definitely
It's
remember,
weird.
but like I also doubt myself as well about
Yeah.
all the bad stuff that happened as
Yeah.
well because it makes me feel embarrassed.
Well, all the marketing stuff's still quite fresh. So
It's starting to get a bit hazy.
I will remind you of all the marketing stuff. that-
Please do, because I'm like, yeah, that was probably my
Yeah.
fault.
That
Yeah.
is the dickiest department in Games Workshop.
Oh.
Apparently.
No, there's no apparent. There's no
Well,
apparent.
You see, shit.
In
It is.
Peachy's opinion.
In Peachy's opinion,
Peachy's
but
Peach's
yeah,
experience.
Yeah,
Experience.
and experience.
But yeah, I
but
love,
also
I love,
factually.
I love customer horror stories on
Mm.
TikTok, like from like nurseries
Yeah.
and retail and stuff. Oh, they're
I
my
get really
favorite.
excited when I see ones that pop up from other. Oh, I'm going to put my dinosaur mug down.
It's a good dinosaur mug.
I get really excited when I see ones from industries I know nothing about, like the hotel industry and stuff. And
I'd
I'm like,
love to know
"Oh."
like Onset
Oh.
actor ones. I obviously we're not going to slay anyone, but I bet it's fascinating.
I'll tell a story rather than a
Ooh,
horror
a
story.
story.
So at Onset we have what's known as craft services because an army marches on its stomach and there is just constantly coffee and snacks in a little like tent trailer.
We
you
had a
can
very
go and
good
get them
snack
from.
table.
We had a great
for,
snack
yeah,
table
great
here.
snack table. And it's called Craft.
Craft services or crafty or whatnot.
Okay.
There's a long history where the name comes from.
Cool.
It's a snack. It's a people that give you snacks and sandwiches
I
and
like
coffee
these
and
people.
things
They're
like
my
that.
favorite
They are
people.
great. It's like
Yeah.
having a small 7-Eleven you can go to at any point in the day,
Love.
grab snacks.
Love.
Now, sometimes what we do is we will bring those snacks to, say, actors and things like that if they're on set, if they can't get off.
Yeah.
Say you just can't let them off, Peachy. Say you can't, where we're shooting something where they're kind of locked in, or we just need to go take after take after take, or it's a
Yeah.
big stunt, and say their energy's getting drained. Bring them some nuts, bring them some water,
Yeah.
give them a coffee or something like that. That's the idea. Is we would bring it to you instead of you going to it to keep it going.
Yeah.
I have almost never experienced an A-lister like some of the biggest of the
biggies.
big names.
Yeah.
Like I got to work on a set with Steve Carell, John
my
Malkovich.
God,
Those
John
guys-
Malkovich.
Absolute legends.
Yes.
I truly
Yes.
cannot describe how great they were on set.
It makes me
And-
so happy to hear that actors that I really like are really nice in
Yeah,
real life.
and I would say they weren't like, it's not like they were being crazy personal. They're not the life of the party. They're there to do a job for
But they're cool
12
guys.
hours. But they were professionals. They
Yeah.
rocked up, did a job. They would almost never ask for it. In fact, oftentimes I would be invited to go and it'd be like, hey, I'm going to go grab something. Do you want me to grab you one while I'm there? I was like, I'm no one. Anyway,
Wait, they would ask you if they.
yeah.
Oh, that's so
it happened a couple of
cute.
times. But the thing that then some people who maybe don't have that level of professionalism or scale, I guess, will then almost try to use their position to throw their weight around and ask for you to get stuff for them when they absolutely could go and get it themselves.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
they'll
they're
be
like, you're
they'll
kinda
be
like-
yeah, like we will. So the way it works
I would do
is you'll have the actors, you'll have the cast. They come in, we block the scene, so we
Yes.
know where the camera movement is and whatnot. Then, because again, you don't want the actors standing there for like an hour while we set up the shot, and then we bring them in and
they're
they're
just
emotionally
tired.
exhausted
Yeah.
to then have a big scene. So they go, they relax in a green room, get themselves in the right place while we set everything up.
Yeah.
Sometimes then it's like they've got an hour and they're like, hey, could you go get me a coffee and a sandwich and
It's
stuff
like,
like
sorry,
that?
what are
And
you
you're like,
doing?
Yeah, while you sit and play Angry Birds, like that's what you want to happen right now. So initially, it can
to be honest, me with Rob.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
It can be really hard for some people, and I understand because in Australia and I think in England as well, the vibe is that we wouldn't really we'd help you, but we'd kind of be like, yeah, sure. Like, whatever, you absolute wanker. I have noticed that in a lot of Canadian and American productions, it's kind of like, oh, but the cast are they're sacrosanct. Like, we have to take care of them.
Like, they're on a pedestal.
Yeah. And so for me, then when I get asked things like that, I'd be like, yeah, sure. It happened to me a couple of times. And the first time they ask, I'm always like, if they're busy, grab it, bring it to set, make sure the cameras keep rolling.
Yeah.
If they're just chilling in the green room, I'll be like, yeah, give me a second. Like, jump on the walkie, be like, hey, how far away are we in this setup? Great. Yeah. You've got 15 minutes before we need to roll.
Like, feel free.
You can just go grab it down over there. While you're there, can you grab me just a coffee with oat milk? And then I'll duck off.
Son of a bitch.
They never ask me again.
Oh, that's such a freaking Uno reverse card.
The thing that is the best about that is that multiple times I have worked with actors who have literally brought me the coffee back. And I will say to them, and I'll be like, hey, just so you know, I don't stop up here. Like, I'm on my feet 15 hours. Yeah. I'm an assistant director. We just keep going.
I don't have 20 minutes.
You truly don't understand how much I appreciate it that you would do this for me when you have that time to, and you've got an hour where you're just going to, and then they're like, oh, I didn't really think about that. So I will say, to their credit, many people, when that is directed to them, do rise above and understand what they have been asking and kind of come over their entitlement, I guess.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. That's another good story.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not asking you
Some people are still bastards. Yeah. Some people are absolutely still bastards.
I'm sure.
I won't touch on it now, but I've got some retail stories for you.
Okay, I'm sure you do.
A list.
You had some like Karen-y parent stories.
Oh, my favorite Karen-y parent, right? I'll quickly go over that.
Yeah.
So we on Saturdays we used to do big games, and we'd get as many kids in as we can. Bring whatever you want. Do big battles. I think it was the giant.
You said big games.
Big games.
He absolutely did.
Big games. Saturday, big game.
Yeah, I heard something different.
I want to make sure.
I think it's just Pride Month. That's what it is.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
So you'd have like 30, 40 kids around the table. I think it was a giant release, the plastic giant, the old plastic giant.
Old, yeah.
And Neil, you remember Neil from Forgery?
Neil Cook.
Neil Cook. He was running the game. He was like shouting. He was coughing up blood because he was shouting and getting that.
What do you mean, Neil? He does get quite excited.
Does get quite excited.
He would. I sounded shocked and I was like, no, I've role played with that
voices
man.
When he gets really into it.
He did LARP for a little bit with me.
His throat was so sore from shouting, it was just a bit scratched in the back.
Yeah. This is normal for Neil. This is like, he commits.
Neil, listen, you seem like a great guy. Go to the doctors.
I don't know. It was only once. It was a really big game.
Yeah.
And so we were playing it, and he was having fun. And this parent's going around, and I'm at the till, and I'm serving some people. She comes up to me, and I'm currently serving some people.
Yeah,
she
quite
taps
busy.
Me on the shoulder.
What? Whilst you're serving?
While I'm serving, I was like, "Oh, hi, you're right." She's like, "Can you tell him to shut up, please?" And I was like, "Neil."
No,
and I was like,
I didn't know him then, and I'm already defensive. I fucking love Neil.
Normally, I'm not that fast, and without a beat, I was just like, I looked at her, already assumed that she's a Karen.
Yeah, because that's
looked at
ridiculous.
Neil, looked at all the kids having the greatest time, and I was like, "Neil." He was like, "Yeah." I was like, 20% louder, please. And then carried on serving. Just ignored her.
Right.
Neil, son of a bitch.
If you don't blow out those vocal cords.
I love Neil. Neil's, I
was like, I didn't want her money.
So upset.
Did not. Games Workshop didn't need her money.
No.
She went.
No. Screw her.
She was like, is there anywhere else I can buy this stuff? I was just like, internet. Bye.
Yep.
Carry on.
Great.
Everyone's quiet on the internet except you probably.
Yeah. Karen with your reviews, 1-star reviews.
But back to the point, you've been doing some good videos. You've been keeping up.
Yeah, so really short, really spin it round. I want to try a new style of like quick paint guide, see how that works, and if it's popular, I'll
go
do
back
more.
to your roots.
Well, it's not that I'll with the speed of doing it, I think I could probably do an extra video a week, maybe potentially.
Peachy, that's insane.
But didn't you also say to yourself that you thought that some people are doing too many videos?
Well, so I think when I say an extra video a week, do give me some leeway time on making some longer videos. So I can still release a video a week.
So do the same release, but just bank up some.
I can, exactly. That's the plan. And maybe if it's a Horus Heresy theme, because people have asked me to do more stuff, if they like it, I'll try and cover all the legions if I can.
That's cool.
That would be super cool.
Talk about Heresy, Louise. What have you been doing?
I've also been doing Horus Heresy.
Hey.
So I've been so busy and so tired and so sleepy and also a little bit sad for various reasons. which is why we've not been doing as many Juggz. So I'm very sorry.
It's not your fault.
It's my
It's
fault.
okay.
It's because of me if it's not my fault. Anyway. So I'm trying to pick myself back up and get better again. So Rob came up with a great idea, which is like, well, Heresy's coming out. Why don't you do a Heresy video? And I was like, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe. But then he was like, oh, what if you did Rainbow Warriors but Heresy? And I was like, oh, well, now you're talking.
Did you just make Heresy pretty?
Well,
now
this
I'm
is it.
interested.
Because I've always wanted to do Rainbow Warriors and Heresy, but I just didn't know how or when. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. So what I want to do and what I have done is a video where, because like I feel like people that play 40k, their Space Marine chapter is like their guys.
Oh, yeah.
They're so diehard for them. Like Lamenters players don't want to play like First Founding Blood Angels. They just want to play Lamenters because Lamenters are so cool.
Or shower.
Like, how dare you? But you know what? Robert Symes. But you know what I mean? Like, when you're a 40k fan and you are so into your favorite chapter, they're your guys, right? But in Horus Heresy, like, you can't play them because they don't exist yet, right? You gotta play... What are you about to say?
Didn't you do a video on Rainbow Warriors and some of the art was in like Mark 4, Mark 3 armor?
Yeah, it's complicated.
Okay.
It's that time period is quite complicated, actually,
Right.
because the Rainbow Warriors.
Actually, I think you'll find that time period is a little bit.
So that time period where they are in that beaky mark kind of like 4/6 armor they're cited as being a successor chapter, which kind of like that means they're not really in the Horus Heresy.
Wild.
They're a successor chapter.
That the official lore has successor chapters that early in the history of Space Marines.
Well,
My
this is it.
goodness.
Because like before the Guilliman's Codex Astartes, there wasn't successor chapters. There was organizations and units. So the Rainbow Warriors being cited as a successor chapter means that it probably happened post Heresies, despite them being in Mark 6 armor. Thank you. But
can I say one of my favorite
Well
things?
done, Peach. Good question.
Great question.
Knowing you, Louise, and how deep you go on the lore of this stuff. Where every now and then when someone tries to like throw an I'm actually in your comments,
Absolutely
I'm just
not.
like, get wrecked, son. Like I know the level of depth that has been researched into this. You are about to get dragged across the coals by someone who knows more about Space Marines than you.
He's
You're
right.
about to get Louise explained.
Yeah.
That's just because other types of armor hadn't been made yet. There weren't other marks of armor. It was just Space Marine
Which
armor
makes it totally
in
legit
Rogue
and
Trader,
unworkable.
right? Yeah. And also in my crack lore. So my video idea, so like they were Mark 6 armor, but there was no, I guess, like later armor because it was Rogue Trader. It was the first thing they ever wrote about the Horus Heresy, except I think it was Rogue Trader. Yeah, it was Rogue Trader. Yeah. So it was just like, yep, cool, they're just in a successor chapter. But in my crack lore, they are... So my video is about how you can kind of adapt your favorite 40k chapter to work in the Horus Heresy. And my precursor is kind of like, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, if you want to play your stupid little chapters, why not play 40k and leave 30k for the people that actually want to do it how it's supposed to be done? And I'm like, yeah, that's totally cool, but that's not what we're doing. We're working with the lore, not against it. And
you can also do entirely what the hell you want to as well.
And I also say, if you want to just paint up Hawk Lords for 30k, pop off.
I mean, I've got Romans with machine guns.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And you'll be able to do that in the evenings and the weekends, right? It's been a very tight schedule.
So it's been extremely tight. So my video is kind of how I did that for my own very 40k looking chapter, which doesn't have a lot to do with 30k. And it's been really good fun. Greg did some voice acting for me. Greg, oh my God. Greg is the voice of Horus in like all the cinematic trailers. And of course, Greg's been doing stuff with us, hasn't he, Jamila? Yes. So, So, he did some voice acting for, I wrote like a little bit of crack lore about like this noble sons of Prism. And Greg did some voice acting as Horus. So it's like, blow my mind. So I'm going to sneak that in the video as well.
You're not ready.
It's insane. It's insane. So it's quite a big project considering I've been doing it in like evenings, but it's coming together and I think it's gonna be fun.
Sounds fun.
And I hope everyone enjoys it.
Well, if I remember my early Rogue Trader books, it's from my point of view.
There you go. A man said it's okay. So
you don't need a man to say it's okay.
There you go.
It's
there
totally
you
fine.
go. Anyway, Jamila, what have you been doing this week?
what have I been doing this week? I have been madly filming. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Madly filming.
Feels weird.
Yeah. Were you've always been here, haven't you? Yeah.
Does everyone want to introduce Jamila?
Yeah, fine. That was a good bit for a second.
It was great. It was
Fine.
What
We swapped
happened?
out Dan for Jam.
Whoa, Dan, you look so beautiful.
Dan got significantly shorter, like lost a foot.
But gained more
Literally,
facial hair.
that's why I was just like making.
It's significantly more facial.
I
hair,
was
so
making
weird.
sure you were like still in shot because
Yeah, because Dan would be like,
Thank you. The secret to losing all this weight is cardio.
Anyway, so Dan is here. I'm getting you mixed up now.
yeah,
Jamila is here with Dan to be our second producer of Heretic
Heretic
Hunt
I am.
and
Heretic
New
Hunt.
Secret Project.
Coretta Chant. And new secret, super top secret.
So tell them
Project.
about not New Secret Project.
Tell
So like tell them that there's a new secret project
There's a
without
new
telling
secret
them what it
project.
is.
There's a new secret project, but you can't know what it is. So the new how do I do that? The new secret project is
Another series.
So,
it's another series.
And it's the same cast.
It's another RPG series. It's the same cast. It's just as chaotic, I would say. I think it might be more stupid.
I
Otherwise-
have
can
never
I
nearly
say it
peed
draws
myself.
upon inspirations of 80s and 90s cartoon?
Yes, you can.
Can I
I
say
think we
that?
can
That's
say
good.
that.
Yeah. And
I-
no more.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that it is. It's a love letter to
Our favorite
to
cartoons.
our favorite cartoons from that era
Mhm. When we
Well,
were kids.
when we
Most.
were kids. Yeah,
Some cartoons, but not included.
Ren and Stimpy.
I know.
Oh my
it's
god.
a shame.
Yeah, yours would be
Although I
Ren
did
and
throw in a
Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy quote earlier.
What was
Oh,
the Ren and
nice.
Stimpy
I
quote?
can't remember now, but it was
Oh, for God's
definitely. I
sake.
definitely threw it in.
I love Ren and Stimpy.
I've got the memory of a goldfish. Do you not?
Yeah, me too.
What's
me
it been
too.
like coming over, Jamila, and organising something like this, like a live? Because obviously you work on film sets.
Yes.
Is organising something for yourself? So because obviously you organise like as part of a huge industry, right?
Yeah, this is all
what
you
have the-
Void is all your thing.
What have been the
Yes,
you're
challenges
done.
between
Yes.
the two?
The challenges between the two. I would say so. You know what? This is coming over and doing it in another country and organizing something from another country
Yeah.
is a bit of a leap of faith. Is kind of the first thing, and it's just a logistical kind of. It's a lot of logistical.
You could say
organising.
nightmare.
I would say nightmare. Some
Yeah,
would say
you could say,
you know what? I'm
nightmare.
gonna say nightmare. It's a logistical nightmare, but it's not because this is the second time we've done it. So this time around,
Has it been a bit
logistically,
smoother?
significantly smoother.
How so? Do you
Yeah.
feel a bit more confident?
Well, I think because we knew, like, very fortunately, as we are in this beautiful place right now.
Yes, good shout out to Rob and the venue.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Robert, let's go.
So-
Didn't have
Yeah.
anything else to do in COVID, so I just nailed carpet to the floor.
You did really good though. It's a great carpet.
Great
It's
carpet.
barely
It's not actually that
it
good.
barely
It's
ever
actually my
lifts
least
up.
favourite bit now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? First thing I came in, I said, wow, someone's nailed this carpet down really well.
Yeah, someone's
What is
nailed
that?
it.
That's not true.
Nailed it.
Someone's
Yeah.
nailed it. Yeah. Carpet?
Nailed it.
That's what I say. That's exactly what I said. And then I moved on. And
Yeah.
we're here. But the first time we came over, we hadn't met before in person. So it was a bit of a thing of like, will everybody
Get along. Not get along
get
because
along,
we'd
no.
always get along, but like vibe.
Yeah.
Like, will it? Because sometimes it can be awkward.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Sometimes I'll go out with people and they're like not Rob's friends, but for example, if they were like Rob's friends,
Mm.
and it could be
The
like
worst.
they're lovely. No, but it could be like totally fine. But I'd maybe be like, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit awkward sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I think so much of it too was like we were hoping that everybody would get what we were trying to do, because
I
we
think we
like
did.
no one is known in this for RPGs.
No,
so
Peachy
coming,
maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
No.
Well,
I
really,
played
yeah.
just with mates. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I'm not
guess
really
you
known
did
for
voices
RPG.
on Warhammer TV.
did I?
Yeah, a little bit, but I know
I
what you
can't
mean.
remember
Like
what I
not
meant.
D&D,
not
and stuff.
specifically.
Yeah.
Not specifically. So that was kind of the first thing. Was just a worry that everybody would gel. Second thing, well, not worry, but yeah. And then the second thing was just the logistics of having equipment like coming from Canada. We couldn't use anything we had because everything plugs into a different
Outlet.
outlet,
Oh
and
my
everything
God.
we have a different power wattage in Canada compared to UK.
They
and
got
so
the
forth. So-
microphones from PMT.
Wow.
Yeah, we did. So
Literally around the corner.
Shout
Oh,
out
is
to
that
the-
the thing
The
down
music
there?
shop
shout
around
out
the
to
corner.
PMT.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
They were great. We
Big-
love PMT.
Yeah,
Big
once a
thumbs
month
up.
it's closed.
Yep, once
Why
a
is
month
that?
it's closed. Yep, we found
What,
that out
PMT?
too.
Didn't know that.
Just
Just a
never
small
mind.
thing.
It was a joke.
But when they were,
I got it.
Is it a period joke?
Yeah.
it was a period.
I feel like it's not the point, but on Pride Month.
It's good. It's
Like-
good. And you flawlessly
Jamila.
agreed.
I did. I just went with it.
I didn't get the joke.
That's
So
But I'm going to cut it anyway, so it's fine.
Great.
No,
Love
don't
that.
cut it.
Love
So,
that for us.
Definitely going to cut it for us. So please
Good.
continue.
Continue, Jamila.
Yeah,
We
so
love
this is
PMP.
lots of just logistical things, I would say.
Yes.
And then we but so that was all the kind of the first season. Just making sure too, we were trying to work out. We didn't know how big the space was, like that we could actually film in.
Yeah, you were
and
just
so
kind of guessing first time.
yeah, straight up, we were guessing. And so we were just like, cool, we think this will work. And we just kind of, and it just, I
Kinda
think
did,
it was
though.
it was the little engine that could. And it was like everything just came together. And it's one of my favorite projects I'd ever worked on.
Me
Was Heretic. It was so fun. The group was great. I
Yeah.
feel like I was ready for the internet to attack us for doing, I just wasn't
Well, they
sure.
kind of have a little bit.
We
A little bit.
literally
But, you know
posted,
what?
'Cause you got
we
nothing better to
posted the
do.
very first picture of
Yeah.
all of us looking happy together,
Yeah.
smiling,
Yeah.
like having our donuts, and then being like, we're so excited, we're like doing 40K, but we're playing it with D&D rules.
Yeah.
And one of the first comments was like, this is so disappointing.
Hope it's not 5th edition.
It was just like
Arr.
someone.
No,
and
it
you
was
know how
this-
they knew? They'd zoomed in. There was like
Oh, the character
there was a
sheets.
character sheet.
Yeah, I don't think we
It
even said.
blurred out. No,
You're
we didn't.
right, they just-
Blurred out in the background. No, all you did,
You're
you posted the most
right.
innocuous photo of like the
All of
five
us
of
having
us just going
fun.
like, yeah, yay team. And then there was like in the corner of the thing that someone
Yeah.
zoomed in 50 times, whatever. Was
Zoom and
a
enhance.
There's a character
Yeah.
sheet. Yeah.
But
Anyway,
it was the comment. It was just the juxtaposition between like happy friendship and I'm so disappointed. And we
But-
were like,
the
I'm not really much into RPGs, but looking at the response, I've never want to get into it ever. Like I've never seen a more like toxic, gross fan base
yeah.
ever. Like, and I'm in Warhammer. I'm in
So true.
Warhammer.
we had
Yeah.
honestly,
Right.
it was like the ones like
Considering
I
it's a
think
game
we-
of imagination,
I-
I'm
Are you
like
telling
use
the
it a
story?
little
So,
bit.
like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not a big like chronically online D&D person. Like I don't know what like the D&D talking points are like I do Warhammer. Like if you were to say, female space marines seems like a good idea, I would know to go, oh no, don't say that online.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, because that's like quite a normal thing to say, right? If you were like, why are there no girl ones? That's quite normal thing to say. But I know online that would trigger a lot of people.
Totally.
But I think we may have stumbled on one of those for the RPG people, which is, it's like a fair point, which is they are sick of D&D being everything. So like, instead of saying, I like role-playing, people like, I like D&D, a lot smaller, it's the same with Warhammer. Like,
yeah.
if you're like, oh, I've made this new tabletop game, and people are like, huh? And then they have to go, like Warhammer. And
Right.
people are like, oh, now I get
Now
it.
I get it.
People are a bit sick of that, but like, it shouldn't mean that every single well-meaning D&D player should be besmirched.
It's so
Like, we were just having fun playing
don't
D&D,
agree.
and there should be room for people to be allowed to have fun playing D&D however they want without them being bad for not playing another
mean,
system.
My point of it as well is like, do you really see the game mechanics that much? It's a story that's
Literally,
been told.
like,
So
I
what-
would...
what,
we're just rolling
what
dice.
function does the argument even have in position? Because it's like you don't see the game mechanics.
No, and we're not like, this is D&D. We're
It's like-
playing D&D.
I
It's like,
got a
no.
load of like comments about like when I talked about Frostgrave and Silver
Mhm.
Bayonet. People were like, oh, I don't like the D20 version in comparison to the D10 because it's a bit more swingy. I'm like, I get that.
Yeah.
I understand the difference between like one's a bit more. There's more room for error,
Mhm.
and the other one's a bit more crunchier.
Mhm.
I like a game system. I actually had someone comment on. I did a little video about
Yeah.
Heretic Hunt. Someone
Right.
commented because
Check it
I
out.
just said, tell
You
someone-
can't say heretic hunt with
I
your
can,
accent.
I can.
It's
Okay,
so...
Heretic Hunt.
There we go. Thank you.
I need to do that better. Okay.
Enunciate.
But I
Large
basically
pause.
say, if you can't get over the fact that we use 5th edition, tell it to someone who cares. Someone really didn't like me saying that
Peachy.
because I don't really care about their opinion.
No, I just had fun. I was disappointed that someone was I was shocked because like all I knew is that we had fun with our friends telling a really cool story and we used dice to do it. Like
so
that's all.
I think
Like we weren't trying to do anything wrong.
yeah
like-
no. So I would say like kind of two things to that. The first was that there was this subsect of people who were really disappointed and loudly disappointed. And that's the internet first and foremost. Oh, wait.
Rob's, no, you're fine. Rob's lights got off.
That was the internet first and foremost. And to be honest, I was ready for, I didn't know what. I just thought like I honestly thought putting 40k in an RPG setting, we may just upset people who were really deep into lore.
People were
40K.
less upset that I was like calling the Emperor, being like, "Do you like my dress?"
I was ready for that.
Yeah, me
more than
too.
anything. And we could not have had a more overwhelmingly positive.
Oh, yeah.
response to that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'd say like
It's a small proportion, isn't it?
Overwhelmingly, it was positive. And
Yeah,
that's been
for sure.
super cool.
Yeah.
So there is this small subsect of, again, always the loudest people.
Yeah.
But I
that,
don't
like,
understand.
But-
The loud minority.
and what I would say to that, I mean, we've all, like, Dan's addressed it, we've all talked about it and so forth, and
Yeah.
we all have this opinion. But my main thing from my perspective, because I'm producing it,
Yes.
is that first and foremost, we're storytellers.
Yes.
So we're coming at this less as like
It's less
we call it-
gamey.
I think that what people are used to is a live stream.
Yes.
So they're used to, like, people are coming at it from thinking like the juggernauts in the space are obviously Critical Role.
Yeah.
2020 and so forth. Critical Role is an average episode is like 2.5 hours long.
because it's
right?
it's as if unedited, right? It's a live stream, like you said.
It's what you call, it's a live stream.
Yeah.
So they're literally playing the game. And I think the thing when it was Dan who first came to me and said we want to do an RPG, he wanted to create an RPG show.
Amazing.
And I was like, cool idea. I don't really know. It was like before we got into it, I didn't know too much about the space. This was like at COVID times.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool.
I don't know much about it. I'd never watched Critical Role or
So-
anything like that.
Yeah. So the idea for it was, that's where it started. We sat down and Dan was like, here, watch the he showed me Dimension 20.
Yes.
I watched a couple of episodes of Dimension 20. I was immediately like, what is this? This is fantastic.
It's cool.
The point though I want to make is that I watched 6.5 hours and I was
Wow.
barely through 2 episodes of this.
Wow.
That was a
Wow.
huge time investment. It was the
Yeah.
first thought, as someone coming from a film background,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
we're making stuff in a very specific format,
Mhm.
timed format.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, 6.5 hours is a very big timing investment
Yeah.
for a visual medium. And I was like, great, we watched that. And what I was annoyed by, and I think I can test this, I'm a gamey person.
Yeah. Jamila.
I get games.
You're
I
the
like
best
games,
at D&D.
I like winning
The
games.
taxes.
I
The
like games.
taxes.
And I watched 6.5 hours. I had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand
You want to know
it.
the rules. You want to know what's going on.
I was annoyed.
Yeah.
So I was like, so our whole pitch for for making an RPG was that we wanted to make some in a consumable format. So
Yeah.
our whole idea was to do exactly what they did, but just to cut it down so that you could basically watch it and binge it in a weekend.
And like
That's the idea.
D&D, like it's easy. It's like
Yeah.
everyone understands. It's almost like a scale from 1 to 20.
Yeah.
Where 1 bad, 20 good, middle something happens,
So
right? And it's so easy.
So to scale back, like circle right back to to the idea that people were angry.
Yep.
These really angry people. My point is, all we were interested in like telling a story first, and the format for
Yeah.
it was using an RPG.
Yeah.
So in terms of like which system, my argument is that it's very, very different to a live play where I get why people are concerned about what system you use if you're doing a live play.
Okay.
Because what you're doing is playing a game.
Yes.
What we're doing is
It's telling a story
Yeah.
where
And
we
so the
use
system-
dice to make the
Yes. So my argument for this is like, it's like the focus is the story, not the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And like the game is the mechanics to do it. And really all that you care about, the reason that we use the game is because it's a tension device.
Yes.
Yeah.
As far as narrative goes. Like you're rolling dice and the tension is like, that determines what we have
Ooh,
to do.
I hope I
and
get
what
a
the outcome
20
is.
or
It's-
else I'll fall down.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
impro with a chance element in it.
Yeah.
That's all that we're doing.
Yeah.
So for me, like
But-
what dice we roll, how it was, is like the mechanics of the game is just that.
Well,
It's
this
just a
is
device.
because
So-
we'd played the whole game, we'd gone through it, we had the best time, and then we posted a happy picture, and the first thing was like, "We are so disappointed in you," and I was like, and I think that's why I was so
How
shocked.
dare you?
That
Yeah,
was,
it was weird.
It was
Yeah.
I am so disappointed, and I was just like, "Bro, we're just having fun."
The
like-
saddest thing was it was Rob that commented that.
Yep.
It's a good comment though.
It's me.
Yeah.
Rob,
With my burner account.
you've played. Have you ever played role playing?
I
want to know,
once.
Rob.
Yes.
So-
Have you ever done an RPG?
I have once.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
What character?
Because
did you
Rob's
play?
not a natural RPG guy, so
That's
I want to
true.
know.
Did you do a
That's
silly
true.
voice?
No.
Okay.
Damn it,
I was
Robert.
hoping there was
I've
something
also
to
run
somewhere.
nightclubs for 15 years, and I did fancy dress once. So hopefully
Yeah,
that kind
Rob.
of gives you some sort of like insight into
I
just
think
the
you
know what I
into the
hear?
into
You
the
could be a
depth
goofy
of
guy.
unimaginative I am.
You know what I hear?
He's a psychic knob.
I hear
Yeah.
that he has done dress ups once. That's what I hear.
You're such an
I hear-
optimist.
What did
I
you dress
hear-
up as, Rob?
Yeah, what did
Santa.
Dressed up as a priest, we ripped up about
Phenomenal.
20 Bibles and we stuck the individual pages all over a bar. And then like each individual page took 2
Yeah.
days. And then, before we stuck them each individual page up, we wrote like curses and like evil shit on it. And then stuck
Crikey,
it up
Rob,
all
you're
over the
going to
bar.
hell.
And then
Right.
like low lit the bar all in red and had some smoke machines.
And
It's
you're a
pretty
priest.
cool.
But also you
That
dressed
sounds
up as Santa, but according to Rob, Santa doesn't count.
Santa doesn't count.
Yeah, it sounds much like a heretic.
Santa, you have to.
I was gonna say.
someone has to be Santa.
Rob,
Yeah.
There's
you-
literally no joy in the world
Hang on.
apart from Santa.
Rob, so
So-
you know some stuff about Heretic Hunt.
I do,
You know-
yes.
Okay, so it's set in basically not Necromunda.
I get it.
Yeah. What would your character be?
Great idea. Great question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Probably just like a slopper.
Oh, big, big
Actually,
crumb.
I love
Big,
it.
big crumb.
Oh my god, you could be like the health and support
Oh,
unit.
Would you have a weasel on
That's
stick?
great.
I tried to have a weasel on a stick
You
for
could-
sure.
you
Maybe
could
I'll
have a
cook
weasel.
weasels.
That's absolutely something.
Maybe
we
I'll
could
cook
have.
weasels.
Yeah.
Weasel G, the slopper.
Yeah.
So, like,
you
yeah,
guys,
tell-
by the way, having worked around you guys for the past couple of weeks, it sounds like you guys are having an amazing
Oh,
time.
we had the best
We
time.
did.
So,
It's
like,
like,
legitimately,
a lot of,
I'm
like-
going to miss you and have a huge crash when you're gone. Also, you, Dan. He's not here. There we go.
Oh, he's
That was
For anyone
delayed.
that didn't pick that up, that was just like, thank you.
Oh, you are, and we will miss you, Dan.
We will miss you, Dan.
Love you. Anyway.
Sounds like we're talking to Rat Damon
God.
again.
It's gone. Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed making characters for the show as well, and extra bits and bobs. Yours was challenging because you wanted to be tall, cat suit. No models existed apart from the Calidus, but then we managed to find Nossus
Oh, you
Prompt.
mean making the miniatures to
Making
go
the
up? Oh, of course,
miniatures.
Peachy was in charge of
Yeah.
making our
I
characters
wasn't in
miniatures.
charge of making it. I just liked doing it.
Well, then
It's
that
my
means you're in
favourite thing.
charge.
Okay.
That means you was
Peachy was in charge.
I'm costume. Hello, everyone. I'm costume.
Yeah.
Peachy was unofficially set design.
Yeah. Set
Yeah.
design
True.
and costume.
Set design costume.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
And that's why it's significantly more epic than it would be.
It's
You-
very good.
You're a fan
Yeah.
of butt pads now?
But
I
pads.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of our
I'm not.
characters
So we're
are
not going to
filled
spoiler anything because this is going to
Yeah.
come out in like a week.
Oh, I've already shared my
but-
photos.
You son of a-
Patreon,
oh,
yeah, I'm
butt
afraid.
pads. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it was only
with. That's
on
okay. No, because we were going to say the characters we were in. Yeah.
Yeah,
they
it's
can,
fine.
yeah, that can go.
Yeah,
it's kind of
they
a
look
big
like they
teaser.
did at the end of season 1. You should catch up if you don't want spoilers
Yeah.
for how they're going to look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Check it out.
But my character, Rob,
Mm.
started out as a tall, willowy red velvet dress. And what
Psyker.
she decided was that she wanted to go for like a black assassin. Sorry, wow, that didn't come out right. Like a black
Zip, 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 zip,
black
zip.
cat suit
Yeah,
assassin. Yeah. And Peachy pitched to me this particular model that had butt pads.
Is it
Really
the
good butt pads.
Collectus
A BBL.
Assassin?
I
B-
gave
yes,
that
BPO.
a
A BBL.
resounding
Oh,
yes.
I don't know what's that.
It was very good.
So,
It was
yeah.
very good. However, in the series 2, not to spoil anything, it did come back to bite you in the ass.
It did come back to bite me in the ass.
It did. It did.
Yes.
Your BBL came back to bite you
Yes.
in the ass.
Yes.
Yeah,
it
quite
actually
literally.
did. It actually
Yeah,
did.
it
Yeah.
Stands for Brazilian butt lift.
Thanks, Rob.
It's what like the lassies get where their butts look.
I
just
needed
so
someone.
big.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. For all the
Got
people
me.
at home, that's what BBL stands for.
Thanks, Dan. Also, I've started to pick up like mild Australian things. Like I call Dan Dan.
Dan.
Now,
Dan.
Dan.
Oh,
Heaps.
no.
I say heaps a
Or
lot.
nor.
Oh, no.
Or Nor.
Oh, no.
There's a few other things. Like Jamila.
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 So as well as recording 2 different series,
Yes.
In 2 weeks.
in
In
2
2
weeks,
weeks.
which is crazy. You
Yeah, it's a
also went to UK Games Expo on Sunday,
Oh
right?
my
We
god.
did.
I'm
Forgot all about
so
that.
tired.
Forgot all about that. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
Yes.
Okay. So I mean,
Jamila's
Jamila,
never been before,
it's
so
your
I
first
want her
experience. So
reaction.
what did you think
So
of it?
Jamila loves
And
board
also,
games.
could someone, Peach, could you tell me what it is before Jamila tells
So
us?
the
Please
what?
do.
UK Games Expo is, I would say, the biggest games convention in the UK. Not Europe, because that's Essen Spiel.
Apparently, it's like one of the mega cons now
It
because they
is.
like broke their recent like record or something. So now it's like considered one of Europe's mega cons.
Is it a mega?
I think so.
That's
I read
fun.
this.
So
I read
it's
this somewhere.
board games, card games, miniature games, any kind of games really. I don't think
Sometimes
video
not even games.
Not even games. There's pouches
Bits,
and books
hats,
and
swords,
Dice.
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 Costume pieces.
So
Costume pieces,
very
Big one for
food.
Rob.
Katanas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can pick one up for
3
me.
days.
Yep.
Tell me top
3
piece
days
it.
is probably right to see it all, but we only did it on the one and didn't see that as much as
We
probably
walked around
liked.
in a bit of a daze. Jamila, tell us about your day, your first time at Games Expo, because we've been every year for like the last bazillion years.
It's a lot.
It was so
Okay, yeah.
much.
What are your thoughts?
I would give it a 9.4 out of 10.
That was so,
That's very specific.
I was so.
Good.
I feel like at that point, just give it an 8.
UK
Like-
Games Expo now going, how do we get an extra 6 points?
Shit,
What did we do wrong?
9.4. Or if it was on a 100-point scale, that would be a 94 out of 100.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yep,
just
good.
Yeah.
For all those playing that system.
Yep.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, just making sure it's translatable. Yeah, no, it was, again, haven't been to one of these before.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't actually know that was a thing.
What a massive.
I had no idea
It's
that
huge.
there was just that there were that many people that
In
are
the
that-
world.
in the world. First of all, no, but there are that many people that come together to do just to specifically look at board games.
Yeah,
And-
board
and-
crane creators
Yeah.
are
As I
massive.
Card game stuff.
I had no idea. I mean, like, I'm huge. I love games.
I'm
I did not understand that this was a whole thing. Maybe because I'm from Australia and then I'm
Maybe.
in Canada, and I'm like, maybe we just don't do that, or maybe we do and I just didn't know. And
Yeah.
in terms of like, what was my response? Walking into it,
Overwhelmed.
I was really inspired actually.
Oh,
as you know,
good.
like starting on Void and so forth. I was like, I didn't know there were that many independent creators making like legit board games.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It was just, and it's people. Some of them were really good.
I like the pair one. You won that one, and it was really
Very
fun.
into the pair game.
The pair game.
Squeaky pairs.
So there was like a game where it was
That
like
was great.
it was like elevated snap, but with squeaky pairs.
But with squeaky pairs.
So like
And you had to grab the pairs.
yeah, and everything was like a pair pun.
everything was a pair
Everything was a
line.
pair pun.
Yep.
I can't even remember. Like
pair-
Paris Hilton.
Oh my god, that's so
Like-
good.
Great. And you had to, so it was just like, match the cards.
Yeah.
That was like, what do you call that?
Snap. We call it snap.
No. The one where you have to find two that are the same.
Yeah, we call it snap.
That's snap?
We call it snap.
Then you have to like bang really hard on the table when you get
Yeah.
them together.
When
No,
you get-
that's snap. What's match pairs? Pairs. Isn't that a different game?
Well, like Happy Families kind of style match pairs.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what
I
that's
think I
called.
know what you mean.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't
cool.
snap the one where you literally snap?
Yeah, but it's still matching two of the same.
Okay. And when this comes out, this is going to be
In the
huge.
comments,
This
someone's
is gonna
gonna
be
be like,
the comments,
wow.
we're gonna lose our
Wow.
minds. We're
Everyone's
like,
shouting
Either
really
way,
loud
so
in the
you.
comments.
But it was
Anyway,
also
yeah,
kind of
Match
like a memory game.
It was a memory game. That's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
memory.
yeah,
Memory.
okay, good,
It's
there
called
we go,
memory.
there we
yes,
go.
There we go. Anyway, that's fine.
And then you had to grab a squeaky pair.
and then you grabbed the squeaky pair. There was a whole other element to this game.
Wow.
There was one that Jamila didn't like, which was the riddles one, because it
didn't
was
like that.
it was a
Louise was really good.
vibes-based game.
It was a vibes-based game.
So it was like Cards Against Humanity, where like everyone goes, "Hoo, yeah, you're the funniest,"
yeah.
and it was a bit. It was like I liked it a lot. So
Yeah.
it was like it generates a riddle that you have to find the answer for.
Yeah.
So it would be like, what is like sticky yet never falls?
Mm.
And you have to think of like the funniest answer to that riddle
Yeah.
or something like that. So it would be like a greased up tree frog,
Greasy
Yeah.
tree frog.
right?
Okay.
And then people would be like, yeah, so funny. I was having a great time with
Yeah.
it. And Jamila's like, what's the rules? What
I
is
blanked.
Yeah,
I
you-
blanked.
yeah.
I was like, wait, how do you win? What's the win?
Yeah,
And then
and
I was
it's
like,
like
well, I could
vibes.
come up with a better thing. I was going to come up with a better answer than Louise. And then what happened was, it was like, but you still had to be the first person to come up with the answer.
Did you?
No, I lost every time. So
Oh
I
my God,
hated that
I'm
game.
so-
So-
But I think we like it was, and again, the layout of Games Expo was way different than other years that we've been.
Was it?
It was,
How
yes.
different?
Yeah.
It's usually it's in like 3 kind of like smaller than those ones rooms.
Yep.
And it's a bit more manageable. I've been going for years, so I kind of know where everything is as well. So
Yep.
it's not as overwhelming. They basically like got rid of a wall between 2 of the biggest rooms, and it was like a hangar
Yeah.
of the most things ever. So I was a bit overwhelmed. I think I could have done a day like we did, where we walked around in a daze, and then the next day we go, oh cool, I saw some stuff I actually want to visit. I could go there. But I think all we did was walk around in a daze. However, we did get to do one thing I really wanted to do, which is get some of the new Gundam miniatures.
Oh yes.
Yes, we did.
Gundam
Yes, we
Assemble.
did.
What were they?
How were they?
What? Yeah, both.
Oh, so Gundam Assemble, because I get tagged in it once a week on my old video of my Gundam thing being like, have you seen this? I'm like, hell yeah. So Gundam, unbeknownst to me, I'm not like a secret sleeper agent for Bandai.
She
I
is.
promise.
It's true.
I didn't know.
She's not.
Don't say new type or racism. But yeah, I didn't know this was happening. But Gundam Bandai are releasing a miniature game.
It's so good.
And it's like Warhammer scale,
Yeah.
right? And it's very familiar to what we think of as Warhammer.
Models are so easy to put together.
Oh my god, let's talk about it. So
So
right.
easy to
So
put together.
obviously there's quite a big expectation on Bandai because Games Workshop plastics are good, but there's a few ways that they fall short. Sometimes there's really big mold lines and they have a system called push fit, which is supposed to be like for kids. You can easily snap it together.
No, you have a fit while you're trying to push it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
the
there'll
full-
be like
that's the full
pegs,
K
and,
version.
you know, like we did with the Gundam miniatures, where we pushed it.
Absolutely.
No glue.
Okay,
Right?
so
The Warhammer ones, impossible.
my only point of reference for building Warhammer models,
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
is that when my brother was little,
Oh,
he tried out Warhammer
cute.
and he got a kit with Space Marines and Tyranids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And his name's Sebastian. Seb.
Hi, Seb.
Hi,
Hi,
Seb.
Seb.
Hi, Seb.
Hi, Seb. Seb, he's like 6, 7 maybe. So he got
Well,
the
now.
No, at
No,
the
no,
time. At the time.
He was negative. I don't even know. Like he
the
did
twinkle in his father's eye.
He was a twinkle. Yeah, no, he tried to build them. I think he got halfway through maybe the first one
Yeah.
and was like,
I can't.
"Here you go." Me being a real Type A child, decided that I would conquer these
Sure.
miniatures.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Big into art at school, so I did build them and
Oh, yeah.
I did paint them. But I just remember
Sweet.
being like really into the first one, and then being like,
It's a
"There's like
chore.
50 of them.
Yes.
There's so many."
Yeah, yeah.
And I do remember that just the part I was interested in the painting, but the building
I like
was
that.
like
A lot.
a lot.
It's a lot.
It was a lot.
So it's gotten worse since the
Okay,
90s.
Cool. Right. Okay. Yeah.
so,
okay.
so yeah,
great.
so the big thing that I was like, oh my god, Bandai, this is so different from Warhammer. Ooh, it's so good. Was like no mold lines and everything is push fit and it goes together incredibly.
Got it.
Like these are big deals.
Amazing.
These are big deals for Warhammer players, right? So now it's kind of like, okay, Gundam Assemble, like, can you do that but tiny? Because like if they can, those like, because the thing is like, oh yeah, so they've got like incredible plastic, no mold lines, everything's push fit, but it's not Warhammer scale. So it's a completely different thing.
different thing.
But now it is Warhammer scale.
I can attest because I was there.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, Jamila, yeah, tell us what your first experience, apart from the, you did give me a reason why you gendered your one a girly, which was cute because it had a little skirt.
Oh yeah, I had a skirt.
Yeah, had a skirt. So
That
your
was-
one
Don't
was
they all have skins?
they do. So the
Okay,
Zaku's
that's fine. No,
Zaku's are now girly pops.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned.
So what was
Great.
your experience building a Gundam Assemble miniature for the first time?
I loved it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. I'm like, okay, maybe I was just
What
too.
did you build? Was it X Rocket or Cha-cha-cha?
I built the one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, cha cha cha.
Cha cha cha.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good. I know which one you mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
I built the cha cha cha. Cha cha cha.
Cha-cha-cha.
Cha cha cha.
Cha cha cha.
Cha 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 has a skirt. His name is Cha cha
And
cha.
painted pink, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And
painted
it's
it
Oh
pink.
my god, it's Cha Cha Char, because it's Char Aznable.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought that's
Agreed.
what you meant.
So,
That's funny.
As far as
Anyway,
I'm concerned, the Cha Cha Zaku female.
absolutely. Anyway, but
Right.
what was it like building a miniature?
Building the miniature, pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like it was, my mem.
It just went together.
I followed the thing, and I stuck it together, and I had a miniature.
Yeah.
It probably took, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It
I was-
wasn't.
I
It
was
was.
just-
It was.
This
like,
is a big deal, Jamila.
the main thing is that I could do it,
Yeah.
and the thing is that if I could do it, anyone.
Anyone can do
anyone
it.
can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Peach, as a seasoned
I was
Warhammer
literally
assembler?
Yes, I was
say,
gonna
as an
say, were
experienced
you guys
hobbyist,
like-
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't follow the instructions because I didn't have any.
Uh-huh.
I didn't use any
And
instructions
it was
either.
very easy to build. The
Oh,
only
good
thing
point.
I
I
had an
didn't have
issue with
instructions.
was the head and neck joint. And I was like, is this right? And then eventually I span it around. I was like, aha.
Uh-huh.
So that was it. So that was the only hiccup I had. And it was a very small hiccup.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't need instructions.
I want
to build
everyone
it.
to know I did not have that hiccup. I just looked at which
Wow.
way the head went.
I think
Wow.
Louise could build any
Mind you, I've built a
Gundam
bigger chart
blind.
recently.
Like she's just Louise could build any Gundam blind.
Yeah,
is
she's
what
very
I realized. She's
fast.
so
Very
fast.
Fastest
Yeah,
fingers
it's
in the West. Ugh.
Mm.
Hate that.
Tough claim.
Anyway.
Big claim. Blech.
Anyway.
That's interesting though to know. So from as a comparison to the Warhammer miniatures, you're
Yes.
saying that Gundam miniatures are significantly easier. Or those ones.
I cannot express, Jamila, how hard it is to push fit a Warhammer push fit miniature. It's like you're talking about like trying to squeeze it shut with your elbow and your full weight on the plastic to get those pegs to like put together.
And they're quite small, so that's a
and
And
then
often
you're bending plastic whilst doing it. Like even when it's like together, it's kind of starting to push apart. There's a gap. I don't think, and maybe there is a push fit miniature out there, which is really, really good. I've never experienced one myself, and I've built a lot of push fit miniatures.
It's also because there's like several different departments, but the sculptors will make something, then there's a different department, and their job is tooling, and their job is to maximize how much can go on that in the most efficient and cheapest way possible.
Right.
Obviously. And the consumer obviously is like, a factor is not what is useful for the consumer. It is only how do we bring
what's an efficient way to put this on a sprue so we can put it in a box which is this size.
Yeah, and that is it.
Whereas Bandai is the journey for the consumer, isn't it? Really, it's
I would say so. Like because you don't paint afterwards, right? Yeah. So like the whole geared up idea of the business is that it's fun to build.
So basically, Bandai Namco is Apple-ifying the
no, because Apple's pretty awful.
Yeah, it's
okay, that's fair. But but when you first,
it's making like a smooth and efficient customer experience.
The customer experience. Like, how like the boxes, but like you open the thing and everything, like you pull this tab and then things slide down.
Unless you want to use anything outside of their ecosystem.
Yes.
Yeah. In which case,
forget it.
So
that doesn't work.
To talk about the miniatures, like very little mold lines. I didn't see any.
I don't remember spotting them, but I was painting in a darky kind of.
I had a really good investigate. There was like the whisperings of a mold line, maybe up the leg, just nothing.
I think there might have been a teeny tiny one, but very small.
Yeah, literally. But like,
I mean, ultimately they are molded.
Yeah,
exactly.
So,
it's molded plastic.
So, but like the same kind that you would find on a Gundam sprue, which is basically non-existent if ever there. Okay. The plastic was good, like you would see with a Warhammer miniature. Like the details were really there.
Yeah.
You recently built a Heresy miniature. How did that compare?
Good. I like the Heresy miniatures. It wasn't push fit as well. It came together really nice.
Peachy, you built from the same box. Actually.
I did. I actually really enjoyed building that Space Marine.
The only thing is like the shoulder pads being in two different.
I don't get that.
So, I've been recently building Heresy tanks.
How's that?
From two different ranges, and actually really fascinating compared to what the GW mainline stuff. That it's clearly tooled to be easier to put together, or more importantly, because tanks are quite big.
And they have lots of moving components.
Yeah, but like they're generally hollow, right? But they put a lot of like pegs and tags and little like ducats to like be able to like plug together. So normally when you'll get like an actual main Games Workshop line thing, it would just be two panels and they just smash together. This has like some little clips that you like
little guidelines and I get what you mean.
Instead of just having like the edge and the edge, they'll put like a couple of guidelines and then a couple of pegs.
That's good.
And then they'll put it together. And I've really enjoyed the experience. Whereas normally, and shout out to obviously this is SDS, so original Forge World.
Love you, SDS.
It just used to be a picture of a tank. It'd be like build that.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
I miss those days.
Go with that Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Where it was just a tank with 100 arrows pointing at numbers at it.
Yeah.
But so I'd say they absolutely compared to Games Workshop miniatures, which is really impressive. But the push fit actually works.
Did you see the announcement at Games Expo that Trench Crusade is also doing plastic minis now?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. They announced it.
That's cool.
They announced that as well.
It felt like it would be soon.
Especially because we had dinner with them and they told us we're off to get plastic kits made.
Yeah.
That was my first inkling. Yeah. My second inkling is when they did it.
Yeah. I was shocked the second time.
Yeah, the second time
I love having short memory. Everything's an adventure.
But it makes sense because it is super popular.
Oh, they're gonna absolutely nail it. It was nice to see the Trench Crusade guys there as well. They smashed it. I got a map at Games Expo.
Oh yes, I've got
a map. It's beautiful.
Was it a map
stunning.
of?
It's the Trench Crusade world as it is right now. So it's Europe.
Okay.
But Trench Crusade.
Yeah.
It's a bit messed up. It's really good. But yeah, I really like the Gundam Assemble miniatures. I have like 3 criticisms, which seems like a lot. There's like a
Trench Crusade.
No, all them Gundam Assemble. Which is like, there's a few points that I wish it was a little bit more deeply detailed. So there's the connection points that go to the leg, you know, those bits, they were filled in with plastic.
Filled in.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. So when I was painting it, I was like, am I missing?
No,
yeah,
it should have been a gap.
I was like, I need, yeah.
So
yes,
like that's one of them. The other one is just like, can you convert them as much as Games Workshop miniatures?
Right.
Maybe not.
Oh, I always find a way.
Yeah, well, people will find a way, but that's
People
like
find a way.
I'm really.
Peachy
I
will
want
find a way.
you to know I'm really freaking like scraping to find these ones.
Okay.
And then the third one, I can't even remember.
Is I think I know what you said. What might be.
I wanted them to be colored plastic.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plastic.
I feel like if Bandai was really gonna flex, they would have made, because like 90%, 95% of Gundam collectors, people don't paint their miniatures, don't
Right.
paint their mobile suits, right? They'll
Mhm.
build them and that's the hobby. And I'm like, give these people, like, they're probably gonna build it and be like, I don't want it.
now?
What do I
Yeah.
do now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be cool if some of them were like colored plastic or color separated. But I think that would, now that I've built one, I'm like, oh, that would be really hard. Unless the whole plastic was that color, it would be really hard
If
to
it was-
engineer the same color
But
separation.
if like Char was like
Mm.
pink and then the other two were like green plastics, that's fine.
Yeah,
It
even
was
that,
really
yeah.
interesting when I was talking to the guys because
Yeah.
like,
Oh, they were great. Shout
Yeah,
out to
absolutely.
the guys. Was it Anthony and Ez? I think it
Oh,
was. He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Z or something. He was
Was it-
great. Yeah, I
'cause
love
I
them.
quizzed them on the, what is the reason why it's not coloured plastic?
Yeah.
And then like maybe this bit's like black and this bit's like colour of a gun and that bit's
Yeah.
like pink or whatever. And he's like, oh, it's because people want to paint. I was like, you do know you can paint over any colour plastic, right?
True.
There's no,
Yeah.
the colour of the plastic doesn't prevent you from painting.
Yeah.
It's a weird assumption that might be a thing that people
I know.
think.
You, now that you say, it's not instantly obvious though.
Yeah, but a lot. I mean, I
You're
can't
right.
remember-
You're
I can't really-
right.
I did something recent on a video, and I mentioned about this because a lot of people are like, "Can you
Huh.
paint over that?" And I'm like,
It's plastic.
"Oh yeah, because it's plastic. That's not an issue."
You can prime over any color you
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Question:
Yeah.
As for miniature makers, and especially someone who's like printing so many miniatures, is it significantly more? I don't know about this. Is it significantly more expensive, significantly more difficult to print in different colored plastics, or is
Not
it a
really.
matter
I
of-
don't know.
So
Rob's
the-
saying no.
I
No?
say the pads that they make for Gundam has lots of different colours on it. So like Louise had a sprue, and when I was
Yeah.
building some of my recent ones, there's like a sprue that might have like 4 or 5 different colours on
It's
the sprue.
crazy. On one sprue.
on one sprue?
On
Yeah,
one
on one
sprue.
sprue, and that's
Madness,
like they
madness.
do little different pads, and it's just how the mold's made and where the colours inject in from.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the actual material, the coloured beads that they use, so Workshop has black and white beads,
Yep.
Which
And
make
then-
that grey plastic.
which make the very plastic. Because
Oh, really? So they're like
Yeah,
mixed in
so-
the machine.
Yeah,
It comes
in
out
the
that
old
way.
days,
it's the color, yeah.
it was
Ah,
like
interesting.
really dark blue when they did the old
Mhm.
Rogue Trader ones, and you
Yeah.
can't see the detail. And then
Mhm.
they made it really light, and you couldn't see the detail. So when you get the two mixed together,
As in, like,
you get the,
yeah, when
right.
it's grey. So when you get the grey, you can kind of, it catches the light a
yeah,
bit more and
you
it's
see the
easier to
detail,
read.
which is why
to
they
read.
ended up doing
Yeah.
that.
Sure.
Fun fact: when you recycle the black bases at Games Workshop, they when you recycle the plastic sprues when they're doing it, they
Mhm.
pour more black into that to make bases.
Ooh.
That's how the bases
No
are.
way!
So most of the things you're
I
walking
didn't
on
know that.
are some random sci-fi or. Like,
I didn't know
fantasy
that
thing.
bases were recycled.
Most of the time, yeah.
That's
see
so
recycled
cool.
That's cool.
sprues,
I didn't know
which
that.
is quite good.
Huh. Anyway,
but yeah, it's just I guess the beads. Maybe some
I don't
colors
know.
might be
But
more
in-
expensive. I
in
don't
terms
know.
of,
tooling
like-
might be more expensive because they need someone to coordinate
But once
how
you've
the
made
plastic.
tool,
No,
Yeah.
it's just the beads,
Is
and
it?
the beads aren't any more expensive.
But
But I mean,
didn't
like the
you-
manufacturing or the engineering that goes into working out how, maybe.
but that's happening anyway.
I
Yeah,
guess
you're just
so.
doing
Make
that
a
anyway.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just
I-
doing tooling.
Didn't you? I feel like you said the other day that it took longer if you're printing in multiple colors than the one piece.
Oh,
That's-
that's printing as
that's
opposed to like
3D
mass
printing.
manufacturing.
Yeah, the way that
Right,
they're,
so
the
mass
way that they're
manufacturing is not the same.
they're doing a very
completely
different
different. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So they mass manufacturing, so like Gundam Assemble, Gundam, Games Workshop miniatures, massive machines. There'll be a tool which has a mold, and they inject
literally
the
just,
plastic,
like-
which is why you get mold lines,
Yeah, right.
which is
so
where
there's
the two pieces, and then it's a little line.
And those mold lines get more intense as the mold ages as well.
I heard mold
only-
lines are on the newer ones.
Oh no, so steel lasts a lot longer. It's
Oh,
like if you look at like some of the older sort of like plastics, like you know when they brought out all the old world
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
the
yeah.
mold lines on them are horrible.
Yes.
So like the old world scenery, unless they've retooled some, but like the arcane ruins in the old days were
Yeah,
horrid.
just like.
But the first
huge
shots of
mold
the arcane
lines.
ruins were really good. It's just that after a while, you will get some kind of like.
It's two
separation.
metal plates with
Yep.
with holes in. They slam together,
Yep.
throw plastic inside of it, and then break apart.
Yeah.
And eventually, those seals become
A bit worn.
a bit
Yeah.
worn. So
Yeah.
then they get a CNC machine, and then they just drill another one,
Yeah.
and that's what they do.
They-
Mhm.
My
they
only point of
age.
reference for this type of thing is that I used to work as a special effects makeup artist.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's exactly the same as how you make.
Silicone bits.
Well, yeah, limbs. and so forth.
No.
So
Limbs.
yeah, like you
It's
have
so
it's an A and a
grim.
B, and you like press
Yeah.
it together, and then you come up with a thing. And I remember when we were doing all that, it's the I don't know. Do you call it flashing?
Yeah.
And
multi-
flash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Flash
flashing.
up,
That's
yeah.
what we called it.
The
So
flashing.
I guess that's a global term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
flash.
Yeah, the flashing on like a foot would come out and it'd be like hyper realistic with every little skin texture mark.
Yeah,
and
every
so forth.
pore.
Yeah, every pore and so forth. But then you just have this weird little like perfect line down the middle of
Yeah,
something.
that's what it's like. But obviously,
Yeah.
when you're working on something that big,
Yeah,
it looks a lot bigger.
it's significant. Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
notice a lot more.
I found the Gundam Assemble miniatures to be lovely.
It's great.
Nice. Was there anything
So
else at UKG that you really enjoyed?
Oh, congratulations to our friends from Caesar Inc. who did
Yeah.
Doomsong.
Doomsong.
They got
I
an award.
Oh.
Yeah,
What was the award they
Doomsong's
got?
cool.
Best RPG adventure.
Yeah, which is huge because
Yeah.
like there is so much there.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
smashed it.
I would like to call
Yeah.
them Workshire though. They won an award, did great at UKG, and that's taking a week off. That is
Hell yeah.
not what you meant to do.
No.
What the hell?
That's
Yeah,
why no one's
Leno.
answered the door and I've been
Yeah,
banging really
exactly.
Yeah,
loud.
yeah, there's been no one
because
downstairs
they're
all
not
week.
here.
Oh.
They're
Go
Yeah.
back
gone.
and check out our
Yeah.
video that we did with Chris, who did his RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doomsong.
Now award winning.
Now award
Now
winning.
award winning.
Now award winning.
I was actually thinking, like when you were telling me about, or telling all of us about
Yeah.
your single costuming experience.
Yeah, priest.
How well that priest would fit in
Yeah.
with
They
your
were all
friends
dressed as
downstairs.
priests.
They were dressed
We
as
couldn't
priests.
find them, and I
I
was just
feel
asking Lestal's like, "Have you seen the priests?" And we actually found them in the
I
end.
think you would fit right in.
Yeah.
With the Doomsong.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
doing it
Aesthetic.
again.
Okay,
Come
but
I think you should.
on.
It's not like it's a thing I do. It's not
Were you-
like
were you a
it's not like
sexy
I
priest?
often dress as a priest.
Were you a sexy
No,
priest?
just a
Only
regular
with
old
your hair,
priest.
you were
Rob
a
can't
sexy
help being a
priest.
sexy priest.
But
If he
I'm
dresses as a
just
priest, it's a sexy
saying-
priest.
Thanks, Louise.
if you were going to dress as a priest or a sexy priest, there's a fantastic RPG waiting for you.
It's
called
Doomsong.
Doomsong.
Mhm.
So
Uh,
for sexy priest enjoyers,
For sexy
I-
priest enjoyers, check
No
out
one-
Doomsong.
okay.
Rob is actually the spokesperson for Doomsong.
Generally,
great
never mind.
endorsement. Great
Yeah,
endorsement.
we shouldn't be really advocating for sexy priests. It's
Sexy
been lots
priests.
of trouble because of that.
Oh,
Fleabag
Fleabag made it cool.
Fleabag brought it back.
Fleabag. I can't even
Free-
I
free
can't.
black.
I'm so
Fleabag.
tired.
However, John
Yes.
Paul did not make
Yeah.
it cool. So,
Okay,
John Paul.
Well, good.
so that
Yeah.
took a turn.
yeah, it took a I
that
know
took a
that's the
turn.
problem.
Yeah.
That's what I always think about them. Right, so you had a great time at UKG.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
And then what's next for everybody?
Sleep.
Jamila, you and Dan, what's next after recording these two things?
Yeah, so at the-
Home.
home. So yeah, we head back to Canada in 3 days. And then it is mass editing time / going back to work, splitting the time across working on film sets.
Exciting.
Busy.
Yes, hopefully a bunch of voice acting / acting things. And then yeah, hopefully it's just editing, mass editing.
Yeah, a lot.
And a lot of releasing. But long-term plan for Odd Void is to shift away from working on film sets and move into making Odd Void more of a production company
Hell
that
yeah.
allows
Sweet.
people to work on film sets. That would be where I'd love it to go.
That's cool.
So coming up, hopefully, that's where we're
Good,
going.
good, good.
Yeah.
What about you, Peach?
I don't know. I might try and do a sharp battle report soon. Been waiting to
you
do
love
episode
treat
3.
yourself.
I'm gonna treat myself to a battle report. I
Hell
want to
yeah.
do some Trench Crusade stuff. I want to
Me
get
too.
sharp into Trench Crusade as well.
Super
So
cool.
I'll see how that works. But yes, what about you?
So I'm so close to moving into my new studio.
You are?
There's a few projects I've been saving because I know when I get the new studio, the lighting's going to be better, the camera's going to be better. So I'm like, oh, I'll save that project. I want to paint up my Gundam Assemble miniature, see how that
Mhm,
goes.
mhm.
I want to build. I haven't even told people. I went to Comic-Con and I won the world's biggest Gundam kit. It's
How
like
did you win the
I
vote?
did a painting competition
Oh
and
my
I
God.
won accidentally. And they said there wasn't going to be any prizes. It's like, oh, you might win a handshake. I got a handshake and like the biggest freaking fuck off Gundam you've ever seen in your life. So
As you do.
now I've got that.
Maybe it was a really good handshake.
That was fucking great handshake.
That was actually the test. It was actually a handshake.
It was a
competition.
handshake test. They're
It was
like,
a
you know
handshake
what?
competition.
Yeah.
And they
So
said, whoa.
it's one. It's like the coolest Gundam ever. It's got inbuilt lights and stuff. So I definitely want to do like, I have the biggest Gundam ever build report,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And then I also want to do Trench Crusade stuff because it's so good. And
So good.
I gave you the miniatures to print. Or like this close to doing my Trench Crusade
They're done.
painting. Okay, don't get.
They were actually done last week.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Shut up. Okay, Rob, what about you?
Oh, what am I doing?
You all sound so surprised.
Oh yeah, I know. I just my face. What do I think I'm doing? I'm doing more of the same. More videos about the games coming up.
Hell yeah.
I might launch 2 new channels. And
Oh,
then,
yes.
Do you want to tell us-
Can you
tell us
tell us
about
about
those?
Casually, I might launch 2 new
You know what?
channels. Just in my spare time.
What else?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell us about those.
Oh, I
Okay.
just I've been trying to make a lot of videos offline, but I don't want to.
You mean like dedicated YouTube videos like me?
Yeah, I
Peachy
think
do?
I don't have the self-confidence to do it, if I'm being
Angel
honest.
Pie.
So I
Oh,
don't do them. I have some nice ideas, and then I don't do them. So I'm just going to do what I do a lot, which is live stream and read books with a bunch of people online. But I might just do that for other game systems. So, because like, there's a load of cool game systems that I like.
What game systems?
So like Necromunda and the Horus Heresy.
Hell yeah.
And just read through the books. And there's already, listen, I just want to say there's already great channels out there that do that, especially Necromunda. Welly Wargaming makes some great videos. He's a good Aussie fella. Maybe a Kiwi, actually.
Represent.
But he's a good lad.
Take it back.
So like, I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes or anything remotely like that. I'm just trying to do it for me.
No,
because-
imagine if you had to say that in 40K.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, some of the smaller game systems are like, I don't know if the Heresy is really well served. And someone in the chats, some of the comments can be like, actually, Rob, these
I'm
guys.
expecting a lot of actuallys in my one.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it more of the sort of historical wargaming crowd, but for 40K?
Yes.
What,
Yes.
Heresy?
Yes.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's true. So I actually, for context, I played a ton of the Horus Heresy. When Warhammer Fantasy Battle died, I went to several of the Horus Heresy weekenders, which is where I first met Louise, but she doesn't remember.
I don't remember because you didn't talk to me. You just looked at me.
I know.
You are
Green,
quite scary
green
and
flag,
intimidating.
I would say.
So
Romance.
scary.
Green flag.
So scary.
So yeah, so I played a lot of that, which is very cool. And Necromancer's super fun, so I'd love to do that as well. And also, I want to read the books for myself.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, if I want to read the books for myself, but I don't read them. Like, I got the most recent Ashways book, and the Ashways Tribes. I have it. It's at home. Just haven't read it because there's not 200 people on a live stream making me read it.
Oh my God, you have ADHD.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
That's
if I
also
read it,
Accountability channels.
yeah, okay, it's just an accountability channel.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just start a channel
You
for
start a
homework.
channel for homework.
Yeah.
But then also designing a Juggz studio, which is very fun.
Yes, of
We're gonna-
course.
All the studios
sexy.
here.
Design
I
a
can say,
podcast studio,
Nice.
which is
had
going
a
to be very.
sneak peek. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, exciting.
That's
Well,
fun. That's
do you
fun.
wanna wrap
Well,
this out,
thanks,
Rob?
Juggz, for. We apologise about the big delay,
Sorry.
and we'll see you all soon.
Love you.
Oh.
Do the bits.